We begin today's broadcast by acknowledging the Gadigal of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of the lands and waters where we gather today. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. Welcome to Sydney for Day 5 of the Australian Rowing Championships, ladies and gentlemen, proudly supported by the New South Wales Government's Tourism and Major Events Agency, Destination New South Wales. Lizzie Chapman's in the commentary box with me. Good morning, Lizzie.
Good morning, Razor. Another great day.
Day 5, and conditions are very, very good and some fantastic racing. Even the first race of the day, we have the current world champions in the PR3 mixed double.
We do, which is really exciting, and we've got quite a full field as well, 8 crews racing. So para rowing is really on the increase and the quality is so high too.
And Jed Alschwager and Nikki Ayres,
Yes.
the current world champions, are looking to add a national championship to that, and both in good form. And our own co-commentator, Stuart Johns, in the race as well.
Yes, he is. So we shall be proudly cheering him on. Yes.
So we have lots of bigger boats now.
We do. So we've got the under-17s who we saw go through endless rounds of single sculls. They're into the double sculls now and moving into quads and fours. We've got lots of different age groups, under-17, under-19, under-21, under-23. The Opens are racing. We start to see our senior team come out now. And then we have a full afternoon of school racing, ending with the schoolgirl 8s and the schoolboy 8s. So we expect our already great numbers on the live stream to rise this afternoon.
Yeah, over 81,000 people have watched on the live streaming so far, so that's a fantastic result. But the school races certainly bring them out. Sadly, the Victorian Head of the River is on tomorrow, so we don't have any Victorian school boy 8s. We have a number of Victorian school girl 8s, but of course the St Catherine's from New South Wales, the crew to beat in that event.
Yes.
One of the downsides of this is that some of our great coaches are coaching Victorian schools, and Noel Donaldson has not been here.
Yes.
He's coming on Sunday.
Right, good. Well, he wouldn't miss the interstate.
No, he wouldn't, but I don't think Matty Ryan's been here as well, so, that's the one downside. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking for a fantastic day's racing, beginning with the PR3 mixed double scull. Lots of doubles, quads and 4s and 8s, and we've got a whole gamut of racing today, and we hope to bring it to you in very good fashion from 8 o'clock this morning.
Rowing Australia would like to thank all partners, supporters and suppliers of the 2024 Australian Rowing Championships. Destination New South Wales, Hancock Prospecting, the Australian Sports Commission and the Australian Institute of Sport, Penrith City Council, 776 BC, Bont Rowing, Colgan Foundation, Inglewood Coffee Roasters, Bolle, Bannister Downs Dairy, Tempur, Ticketmaster, The Regatta Shop, Sixt Australia, Sykes Rowing, Concept 2, and Croker Oars. With support from Rowing New South Wales, Rowing ACT, Rowing Queensland. Rowing South Australia. Rowing Tasmania. Rowing Victoria. And Rowing WA.
Welcome to Sydney. Upbeat, downbeat. Feel its heartbeat. Open spaces. Open arms. Open all night. Come feel it all. And feel new.
In every corner of this great country, Australians are chasing their dreams to be the best at what they do. In Australia and on the world stage. Through persistence and commitment, teamwork and resilience. With pride in what they do. Even in the toughest of times during the pandemic, pathways were found. With a shared vision to represent Australia, to be the best they can be, and to contribute to our nation.
Our patron, Gina Reinhardt, helps to give me the leadership and inspiration
to want to be the best.
To climb the biggest mountains of our lives.
Setting myself up now and into the future.
Like these great Australians, we too continually strive to be the best at everything we do.
We have varied and exciting career opportunities across our mining and agricultural businesses. To join Australia's most successful private company group, head to futureaustralianjobs.com for more information. Roy Hill and Atlas, investing in Australia's future.
So, as is our custom, I'm joined in this commentary box this morning for an interview with, today it's Sarah Cook, CEO of Rowing Australia. Welcome, Sarah.
Thanks, Razor.
CEO for how long now?
Started in July last year, so the last time we chatted, it was under different circumstances. I was the COO at the time, but yeah, my first Australian Rowing Championships as CEO, but oh gosh, I think it's about my 20th national championships at this point.
Now, as COO, you had a role. Now you're in charge of everything, but national championship sponsorship is so vitally important of the whole team, and the list of sponsors has grown in the time you've been chief executive officer.
Yeah, look, we are really working on our commercial offering as a sport, and we've got some fantastic major partners in the Australian government through the Australian Sports Commission and the AIS, of course, through DNSW, who are fantastic supporters of this event every time we come back to Penrith, which we love, and also, of course, Hancock Prospecting and our patron, Mrs. Gina Reinhardt. So we're very fortunate to have that fantastic support that we do, but as you say, a lot of other smaller sponsors who contribute in such an important way. We've got Bont and Bolle, I can see their flags up on the hill, do a great job supporting the Australian rowing team, Penrith City Council for this event, so we're very fortunate.
Well, Penrith City Council goes way back to donating the trophy for the Penrith Cup for the Interstate Lightweight Men's Four. So that's right. Their history is very rich, that's for sure, when we were on the river back in those old days. So a previous high performance director used to say high performance was for 2% of the rowing population. So the 98%, what are we doing for them?
Look, I think our sport has so much to offer, and for the first time, rowing is becoming truly multidiscipline as well.
Absolutely,
so we have these fantastic Australian Rowing Championships celebrating our flat water history. We've got more than 2,000 competitors here. I think it's 2,126 competitors. Yep. Our biggest event on record, which is just extraordinary, and it's so great to see the rowing community out here supporting. But of course, we have the Australian Masters Rowing Championships in Tasmania in May, the Australian Indoor Championships in October, which are run almost fully virtually, and then the Australian Coastal Rowing and Beach Sprint Championships, which we'll be announcing the location, but I can give you a bit of a hint. It's in Queensland in August this year once again, so we're looking forward to the Coastals and the Beach Sprint, which of course are now in the Olympic Games for LA as well.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. And Ronnie Batt's doing a fantastic job with Coastal and with the indoor rowing. He's very passionate about it, isn't he?
That's right. We've got Ron Batt, who is incredibly passionate. He's our sport development manager. He's supported by Tupi Selle, who you'll see up at the indoor rowing tent. So go and have a go. They've got a competition running with the indoors. So go and have a crack and see how many watts you can pull. And we're having come and try as well for coastal rowing with Larissa Biesenthal, who's our lead for coastal rowing here in Australia. So have a go on the back lake over at lunchtime, and we're supported through the Green to Gold to Great program through the Commonwealth Games, because of course Beach Sprint is in for the 2026 Commonwealth Games. We're still trying to work out
wherever it might be
where
held.
that will be, but it will be in for the Com Games, which is great.
Well, there's a rumour of Malaysia, isn't there, I think?
Yeah, that's right. That's what I've heard as well. Malaysia is a front runner at the moment. I'd love to see it be in Australia and to see us pick up that mantle, but I'm not sure that we're there. We'll have to wait and see.
I like a bit of satire. Some of the Victorian wags were saying when Victorian government gave it up, that Geelong Grammar had hosted instead because they could afford it.
I'm very supportive of that. I love Geelong. Great place for coastal rowing. So all for that.
So Larissa is hosting a session at lunchtime today for coastal rowing in the back lake.
Yeah, that's right. So go up to the display up at the tent where the indoor rowing is as well. Have a chat to Larissa. But during the lunch break each day, go and have a go. Jump in a coastal boat. Razor, you should get in there. Give it a go.
It's wide enough.
It's self-bailing as well. So if you get some water in there, it'll flow out. So that's good.
Well, it's an interesting thing because I rang James McRae after he and Cam Girdleston didn't win the coastal double sculls, and I said, what the hell's going on here, you know? And they said we were just rubbish at getting in and out of the boat. They were faster than anybody when they got in and got out, but they lost so much ground getting in and so that it's a different skill set, isn't it?
It's an entirely different skill set. One that we're seeing emerge is speed across the sand. The running component is really important, that agility to get in and out of the boat, and then it really draws on navigational skills and agility and time on distance, going around the marks and with the slalom that you actually row, and then of course being able to handle the waves coming back in. I did the Coastal Championships a couple of years ago, and in my quarterfinal got unstuck on a very big wave, and it was a very spectacular capsize. My boat went flying through the water. I was fine. It looks a lot more dramatic than it actually is, but I came out of the waves up onto the beach, and I just thought, this is so much fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's why so many stillwater rowers go rowing surf boats as well. But there's almost a pathway there. Marcus Delamata has gone from being a coastal rower last year to trying to qualify an Olympic boat this year. That's an amazing story.
It is extraordinary, and even the world champion from 2 years ago in the women's solo is Emma Twigg, who is the last Olympic champion as well. So the overarching skill set is still rowing. It's still being able to scull. Of course, unlike surf boat rowing, it's sculling, not sweep rowing. So you do need to still be a proficient rower, but certainly we're seeing the flow of athletes in both directions, which is great.
Sarah, thank you for joining us. I know you've got a busy day. Georgia tells me she's got an all-day meeting beginning at 9 o'clock, so I'm sure you're in those same meetings. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to some great racing, and you're doing a great job. Everybody tells me so on what I see, so keep up the good work, and best for all your family as well.
Thanks, Razor.
Cheers.
Rowing Australia is delighted to have Inglewood Coffee Roasters as an official partner and the official coffee provider of the Australian rowing team.
To celebrate the partnership between Inglewood Coffee Roasters and Rowing Australia, Inglewood is giving away a year's supply of coffee to 5 lucky rowing fans. To enter the competition, all you need to do is head to the Australian Rowing Championships between the 18th and 24th of March and scan one of the competition QR codes at the venue.
We love that Inglewood is Australian owned and specialises in sourcing and roasting the highest quality beans for a great cup of coffee. Purchase your event tickets and join us for a week of exhilarating competition. It's also your last chance to watch our Australian rowing team compete on home soil before they head off to Europe for the 2024 Paris Games. The winner will be selected randomly and announced after the Australian Rowing Championships. Good luck.
And race one for today is underway, Lizzie.
It is, and it's the para double scull, the PR3 category, which we'll come to later. In lane one, we've got a composite of Kaylee Mitchell from the University of Queensland Boat Club and Bodie Hebhart from the Adelaide High School. They're coached by Joanne Malcolm and Michael Russell. In lane two, we have a composite of Aaron Skinner from Nestles and Stephanie Walker from Drummoyne Rowing Club. In lane three, a composite of Stuart John, our co-commentator from the Australian National University Rowing Club, and Lauren Webber from Community Rowing Club in Sydney. Their coaches are Liam James, Anne Craig and William Hatcher. In lane four, a composite, Lisa Greisel from Lake Macquarie Rowing Club, supported by the New South Wales Institute of Sport, and Mac Russell from the University of Queensland Boat Club. They are coached by Michael Russell. In lane five, Jed Altschwager from Torrens Rowing Club in Adelaide, supported by the South Australian Sports Institute, and Nikki Ayres from Capital Lakes Rowing Club in Canberra, who now lives in Adelaide and is also supported by SASI. In lane six, a composite, Michael Taylor from Tasmania University Boat Club and Eleanor Taylor from Community Rowing Club, coached by Liam James and Peter Volker. In lane seven, from Bundaberg of Queensland, Christian Lane Krebs and Rebecca Markwell, coached by Alan Goff. And in lane eight, from Community Rowing Club, Bronte Marshall and Sam Shalhoub, coached by Anne Craig and Liam James.
And Lizzie, it's fantastic to see 8 double sculls in the PR3 mixed double scull. This is a new World Championship event in Australia, the current title holders. For those who don't know, can you tell us what PR3 actually means?
Certainly can. So in rowing, our para sport is for physical disability and intellectual disability at the domestic level. Once we get to international level in rowing, it's only for physical disability. So hence we have such a really big field here. PR3 is where you have use of 3 muscle groups: legs, trunk and arms. PR2 is 2 muscle groups, and PR and so here we have PR3, so they're actually able to use the sliding seat on the rowing boat, and depending on any impairments with the arms, the full length of the rigger and the oars.
And Nikki Ayres relocated. I interviewed Nikki last year when we were at Champion Lakes. That's and it was an absolutely fascinating interview. And because of the success, she's relocated to Adelaide.
She has, that's right. So
she's a nurse.
She is, and she was a nurse in trauma. But what she did was she went and retrained to be able to do midwifery, I believe, so that she could then relocate to Adelaide and work there.
Okay.
And that meant she could then train with Jed. So they know each other really well since the talent. What was it called?
Talent search, was it?
It was called Train for Tokyo, wasn't it?
Yes,
and,
that's right.
It was a talent search across Australia run by Gordo Marks, who's now leading Radford College Rowing, and Tara Huntley, was it, who assisted him. And they had a series of talent spotting activities followed by a camp, and that camp produced for our rowing community, Jed Altschwager and Nikki Ayres, who you see in the double now. Also James Talbot, Ben Gibson, Alex Viney was attracted to the sport through that. Alex Vullerman was found through that. So these are the PR3 group that since 2017 have been representing Australia with considerable success, and hopefully and competing in the PR3 Coxed 4 at the international level and at the last Paralympics. And from this Paralympics, the PR3 mixed double scull is an event too.
So who's coaching this double? Because there's no coach listed, and if they're in South Australia...
Yes, so Christine McLaren at the South Australian Sports Institute, yes, but who also coaches Simon Albury, who we'll see later in the... actually, I don't think he is competing. He's in the PR2 single, and also Chat King and James Loveday, the national team coaches, are involved.
But Chad's domiciled on the Gold Coast, I think, these days, isn't he?
That's right. That's across the border.
Yes.
But we're seeing here on our screen in front of us, Jed in the stroke seat.
There's Christine McLaren on her bicycle, watching her rating watch.
Chad.
And Chad. So there we can see exactly what's going on and who's doing the coaching via the great shots we're getting from the camera car following the race down, which is a reminder to pedestrians that both roads on the grandstand side are closed today because of those vehicles following the racing down. And please do not go onto those bitumen pathways.
No, and if you are cycling, please do remember to wear a helmet. So the pictures here we see of this PR3 double. Jed in the stroke seat has a leg impairment, so he has a prosthetic leg. And Nikki also has a leg impairment from a horrible rugby injury. Both of them, though, with no impairments in their arms, and beautiful sculling there.
And Mac Russell and Lisa Griesel are in second place currently.
They are. So Elisa was the winner of the PR3 mixed double scull last year with Harrison Nichols. We say good day to Harrison. Hopefully he's tuning in. Unfortunately, he's not very well at the moment, so he's unable to compete this year. And we wish him well with his recovery because he is such an incredibly talented athlete, very powerful, very skillful, and he had a great championships last year, and I'm sure he's hurting by not being here this year, but I'm sure he'll be better and be back soon, and we're really hoping to see him compete in the PR3 mixed 4. The selections for that crew haven't yet been finalised because both Harrison and Tom Birtwistle from the Tokyo 4 currently unable to compete, but they will be back soon, and that selection will be finalised, and we'll then know who's in the Coxed 4 for the Paris Paralympics coming up later this year, 2024. And it would be very remiss of us not to mention the International Organisation for Intellectual Disability that also holds an event every 4 years. That's the Virtus. So the Virtus Global Games held every 4 years. So it was held last year in France, and a number of our Australian athletes with intellectual impairments have competed at the Virtus Global Games either last year or in previous years, including people who are racing here today, such as Bronte Marshall, who's from Community Rowing Club in Lane 8.
And the crew in Lane 1 has finished in, or will
Sorry,
finish
and
in...
Mac Russell, who's just finished second. So yeah, back to the results. So the winners of our PR3 mixed double scull here today were the current world champions, Jed Altschwager and Nikki Ayres. Coming in second, Lisa Griesel, who is the reserve for the Paralympic double, and Mac Russell, multi-gold medalist from the Virtus Global Games. Coming third, across on the far side, relatively new to para rowing, Kaylee Mitchell from the University of Queensland Boat Club, and Bodie Hebhart from Adelaide High School.
Then follows the crew in Lane 2, Drummoyne Composite, Aaron Skinner from Nestle and Stephanie Walker from Drummoyne. And Community Composite, although there's a crew coming down here right underneath the commentary box.
Yep. Ooh.
That's Lane 6.
That's right. So Lane 3, Stuart John and Lauren Webber that came across the line 5th. In 6th, Bronte Marshall and Sam Shalhoub. No, I don't think so. Somebody with a visual impairment, I would have thought. 7th, Lane 7's Bundaberg, and 8th, Community Rowing Club. So that must be Lane 6, must have been Michael and Eleanor Taylor, is that right?
Yeah. And the winning time, 7 minutes 18.68, and the margin's 28.41 by 19.84. So we're not going to be quite as busy today, Lizzie. The races are 10-minute intervals, so we can breathe a sigh of relief, and it may give us the opportunity to acknowledge some of our sponsors more appropriately. Sydney is the gateway to Australia, and it's only truly global multicultural city. Bont Rowing, be a part of history and design the Australian rowing team shoes for the 2024 season. The winner will receive 16 pairs of their own custom designed BR2 rowing shoes for their club or school, total prize valued at $4,000. To enter, visit bontrowing.com/news, follow the prompts and unleash your creativity. It's possible the team could be wearing your design at this year's Paris Olympics and Paralympic Games. Get in quick. Entries close Friday the 12th of April.
And just a quick recap then of the PR3 mixed double scull. A win for Capital Lakes and Torrens. Second was University of Queensland, Lake Macquarie. And third was Adelaide High, University of Queensland. Winning time 7 minutes 18.78.
And the next one's underway, Leslie.
We have the final of the under-17 women's double scull on the course with St Patrick's Townsville in lane 1, represented by Keely Adebar and Emily Edison. In lane 2, Sydney Rowing Club, represented by Mabel Oxenham and Xenia Palmer. Unley High and Newcastle Grammar Composite in lane 3, Annabelle Mackenzie and Georgie Twelfthtree. In lane 4, we have Commercial Rowing Club of Queensland, Summer Phillips and Sienna Becker. In lane 5 from Mossman Rowing Club, Eloise Stevens and Elise Coates. And in lane 6 from Mossman Rowing Club, Frida Kirkham and Lottie Ravenstein. In lane 7 from Centenary and Brisbane GPS, Willa Dunbar and Greta Knott. And in lane 8 from Loretto Normanhurst School of New South Wales, Stella Moore and Patty Boland. We've got some cracking crews in this race.
And the Centenary Composite crew took an early lead. They're rowing a boat called the Gabby Cookler. And Gabby rowed for Queensland and Australia, I believe. And the commercial crew in a boat named the Adam Backer, who also rowed for Queensland and for Australia. So interesting to see the names on the front of the boats there. But it is the composite crew from Brisbane and GPS and Centenary that have their bow in front. Great shots coming to us from the following camera on the side there. It's sensational. Then back in lane 4 is in second place the commercial crew, Mossman, who probably are the favourites based on the form in the single sculls. In lane 5, they're in third place. And then Mossman in lane 6 and the crew in lane 3, the Unley High composite crew with Newcastle Grammar. They're very much in the mix there as well. Oh, you can throw a pashmina over them. Have a look how close they all are there. 0.91, 0.84, 1.21 back, so very little to choose between the first 4 boats after 500 metres in the under-17 women's double scull. So it's Willa Dunbar of Brisbane and GPS and Greta Knott of Centenary, coached by Maddie Pakila, Nigel Stubbs and Michael Abstelton, that has stolen a bit of a march there in the early stages and have opened up the best part of half a length's lead from the improving Mossman crew. The crew I said would be the favourites based on their single sculling performance. That's Eloise Stevens and Elise Coates, coached by Ben Whitewolf, Tom Schranko and Kieran Kabelke. Commercial, who were right up there earlier, have now dropped back into third position. And on their stroke side, the Unley High crew of Annabelle Mackenzie and Georgie Twelfthtree are right there with them, as is the Mossman crew in lane 6, Frida Kirkham and Lotta Ravenstein. But it's still the composite crew from Queensland, Centenary in the stroke seat, Brisbane and GPS in the bow seat, leading the Mossman crew from Sydney in second place. Mossman just trying to peg back that advantage as they approach the 1,000 metre mark. Third is the crew from Commercial, hanging on to that spot, but Mossman in lane 6 are their immediate danger to get a place on the podium. And just as I speak, the crew from Mossman in the middle of the field have taken an effort and taken the lead through that effort. They've had a push there, coming up to the 1,000 metre mark. They just got longer and stronger, the Mossman crew, and they've taken the lead away from the early leaders now. Dunbar and Knott of Centenary and Brisbane and GPS, and they are still in second place, and a great battle for third, Commercial and Mossman. They look as though those 4 are where the medals will be. 1.49 the lead for Mossman, 0.56 back to Commercial in third place, 0.96 back to Mossman in fourth place. But this Mossman crew, part of this fantastic young group that Tom Schramko and Kieran Kabelke have got going at Mossman, and they're looking to add another medal to the tally already established yesterday. They've got some clear water now over the composite Centenary and GPS crew, Brisbane and GPS, and Commercial in station 4. Summer Phillips and Sienna Becker, coached by Ross Bartho and David Vandas, have probably moved into second place now. So you can see the Croker oars in the lead boat, And we thank Croker Oars for their sponsorship of the regatta, and this leading boat, Mossman, using Croker Oars, and have got the lead, and a move. Eloise Stevens and Elise have moved into second place. Summer Phillips and Sienna Becker, coached by Ross Bartho and David Van Das. David Van Das, a native of the Czech Republic, and doing a terrific job at Commercial and bringing all these youngsters through, and they've got quite a coaching team there, and their recruitment's going very, very well indeed, particularly in women's rowing. But they've moved further in front, the crew from Mossman, as they come through the 1,500 metre mark, and they've got a handsome lead indeed. They're 2.5 lengths clear of Commercial in second place. Great race for third between lanes 7 and 6. Dunbar and Knott, the early leaders, and Kirkham and Raverstein of Mossman. They were neck and neck for that bronze medal position. It's just 0.06, so that is bow ball to bow ball for sure for the bronze medal at the moment. But no doubt about our gold medalist, barring mishap, the crew from Mossman in Station 5. I've already put a 1 beside their name. Commercial doing a terrific job in the third 500, the championship quarter, and they've moved clearly into second place now, in front of the battle for third. Most of the cyclists on the far side have helmets on, but there was 1 or 2 who have not, so they mustn't have heard my announcement yesterday about the police officially warning people and threatening to come back today with their book. But the crew from Mossman sculling beautifully. The blades are parallel all the way. They go in together, they come out together, and the blades are parallel through the whole stroke. And the crew from Mossman, well coached by Ben Whitewolf, Tom Schramko and Kieran Kabelke, 2 blokes who know a bit about sculling, Kabelke and Schramko. And a great race now for silver and bronze. Commercial holding on to second, but Mossman and the early leaders are a crew from Brisbane and GPS and Centenary in a real fight for those 2 minor medals, shall we call them. Plenty of support coming from the far side for the coaching peloton, and on the grandstand we can hear plenty of support for all of these scullers out here. It looks like Commercial in Station 4 will hang on for second place, although Mossman are charging at them, as is the crew in lane 7. That'll be very close. It'll be Commercial will be second, Mossman will be third, Centenary, Brisbane and GPS will be fourth, Unley High will be fifth, lane 8 will be sixth, 7th then will be St Patrick's Townsville, and 8th will be Sydney Rowing Club. The winning time 7:42.87, and the margins 4.87 and 1.30.
So confirming the results of the Under-17 Women's Double Scull Final, a win for Mossman Rowing Club, Eloise Stevens and Elise Coates. Second, Commercial, Summer Phillips and Sienna Becker. And third, Mossman Rowing Club, Frida Kirkham and Lottie Rievenstein. In fourth, Centenary, Brisbane and GPS. In fifth, Unley High, Newcastle Grammar. In sixth, the Loretto Normanhurst. In seventh, St Patrick's Townsville. And in eighth, Sydney Rowing Club. Winning time 7:43. The presentation of medals for the PR3 Mixed Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Jason Lane, Rowing Australia Head of Pathways. Third place and bronze medalists, representing Adelaide High School and the University of Queensland, Kaylee Mitchell and Bodie Hebhart. The crew was coached by Joanne Malcolm and Michael Russell. Second place and silver medalist, representing the University of Queensland Boat Club and Lake Macquarie, Lisa Greisel from Lake Macquarie. Mac Russell from the University of Queensland Boat Club. The crew is coached by Michael Russell. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, representing Capital Lakes and Torrens Rowing Club and the South Australian Sports Institute, Nikki Rowing Club. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks as though the new Australian record. Medalists in the PR3 mixed double scull.
Sydney offers something for everyone. Dynamic multicultural neighbourhoods, golden beaches and national parks, exciting and innovative dining and retail, continually evolving arts and cultural offerings, and an action-packed calendar of world-class events. RP3 Dynamic Rowing Machine is the most realistic feeling you can get to the water on land. The true rowing experience, rowing on the RP3, will improve your fitness and technique through its unique design. If you can get on the water, do it. If you can't, this is the machine for you. Proudly distributed in Australia by Bont Rowing is the RP3 Dynamic Rowing Machine. So the under-17 men's double scull final are all in the blocks there, Lizzie?
They are indeed. In lane one, we have North Esk, Jasper Twitchett and Samuel Detmer, coached by Richard Clark and Adam Simons. In lane two, St Virgil's College of Tasmania, Saxon Van Anholt and Llewellyn Gray, coached by Oliver Wilson Haffenden. In lane three, from the Redlands School here in New South Wales, Thomas Hooper and Angus McInnes, coached by Alec Price, Timothy Robertson and James Petering. In lane four, from the Southport School, George Schmidt and Harrison Howard, coached by Stefan Muhlenberg. And in lane five, also from the Southport School, Kine Baird and William Box. In lane six, from Prince Alfred College of South Australia, Christian Smith and Nick Christensen, coached by Thomas Johnson. In lane seven, from Brisbane Grammar School, Ezekiel Hutton and Oliver Kent, coached by Philip Morgan. And in lane eight, from Corio Bay, the twins, Ty Bailey and Zander Bailey, in a double together, coached by Jeff Watt.
Identical twins, in fact, yes. So Richard tells me. So off quickly is a crew from St Virgil's, a crew coached by Oliver Wilson Haffenden over in Station 2, but also off quickly is the crew from the Southport School, Kine Baird and William Box, coached by Stefan Muhlenberg. And great to have Stefan back in Australia coaching once more. But it is the early leaders are the Tasmanians over in Station 2, and right beside them in the lead is the crew from the Southport School, about 3 lanes over, and Prince Alfred College and Brisbane Grammar School have also got away quite nicely. Prince Alfred College there, Christian Smith and Nick Christensen, coached by Thomas Johnson, just hanging on to the Southport School crew. then across to Brisbane Grammar and Corio Bay, the other Southport School crew, just finding the pace a little hot in the first 500 metres. But the St Virgil's crew of Saxon, Van Aanholt and Llewellyn Gray have got their bow in front by a best part of half a length as they settle into their rhythm and head through the 500 metre mark. The Southport School in second place, so Stefan Muhlenberg with 2 crews in stations 4 and 5, so they must have both won their semi-finals. But at the moment, it is the crew from Tasmania, and Brisbane Grammar School have moved up into second place now. That crew of Ezekiel Hutton and Oliver Kent, coached by Philip Morgan. They were a little tardy off and have moved into Darren Purcell. And a shout out to Darren, who's been battling illness for some time now. Rode for Australia, stroked the Australian lightweight 8 to a World Championships in 2011 in one of the greatest coxing performances you've ever seen in your life. And the audio of the coxing was amazing. Yeah. So Brisbane Grammar have moved into second place in that blue boat named after Darren Purcell. But at the moment, it is the crew from St Virgil's College in Hobart that leads. Bit of overlap coming for Brisbane Grammar School now. The early leaders of Southport School are still in third place, but Prince Alfred College, Christian Smith and Nick Christensen, coached by Thomas Johnson, are challenging them. And then back to the improving Southport School crew of George Schmidt and Harrison Howard. Then follows Ty Bailey and Xander Bailey over in Station 8. North-Est, Jasper Twitchett and Samuel Detmer. And Redlands, Thomas Hooper and Angus McInnes. They're making every post a winner, the crew from St Virgil's in Station 2 in near perfect conditions today. The sun just trying to come through, but we're happy if it doesn't for another hour or so, because it makes it very difficult to see up here in the commentary box. Our umpires following them through, and there's 1.96 is the margin now for St Virgil's over Brisbane Grammar School. And improving is the crew from Prince Alfred College, and then follows Corio Bay. The bow man there from St Virgil's just looking across. The dangers are on his bow side. He's got the crew on his stroke side well and truly covered. And it's a length lead for St Virgil's over Brisbane Grammar School. Oliver Kent and Ezekiel Hutton at Brisbane Grammar, coached by Phil Morgan. Probably would have been in the year 11 squad last year, this season I should say, but may well have been just year 10s, I'm not sure. I'd imagine they'd be in the year 11 group. The Southport School in lane 4, still there in the bronze medal position, albeit narrowly over the crew from Prince Alfred College. In fact, it's the Southport School in lane 4 that's moved up, and the early Southport School prominent crew in lane 5 has dropped back somewhat. Plenty of advice coming from the coaches of the St Virgil's crew. The intensity of the look from the one guy there looking at his charges. But they're responding to the encouragement, that's for sure, the crew from St Virgil's. And Brisbane Grammar School in second place, and the Southport School in lane 4 are the crew that's on the improve, but they've only got 500 metres to go to make up a best part of a length and a half. That's going to take some doing. A fantastic race, a great scene as St Virgil's come through the 1500 metre mark now. Just on a length clear, almost a dead heat between Grammar and the Southport School, just 0.08 between Brisbane Grammar School and the Southport School crew in lane 4. Then follows Prince Alfred College, and Prince Alfred College are getting into the mix there as well, right beside the crew from Brisbane Grammar School. It's very difficult to line them up. Far side of the course, the crew from St Virgil's, they've led all of the way from the very first stroke, but they're getting some pressure now from out here from the Brisbane Grammar School and the Prince Alfred College crew. They've moved into it, as is the crew from the Southport School in Station 4. Southport in Station 5 can do no better, and Brisbane Grammar School may have run out of legs as well. St Virgil's race plan was to get in front and hang on, and now they are hanging on tenaciously as the Southport School in lane 4 and the crew from Prince Alfred College come at them. St Virgil's have held sway all the way down the course from the time the lights turned from red to green, but they're under extreme pressure now from Prince Alfred College and the crew from the Southport School. Brisbane Grammar are back in 4th place. Improving is the crew from Redlands, but the Tasmanians look as though they might hang on here. The crew from St Virgil's, Saxon Van Anholt and Llewellyn Gray over in Station 2. Look at the finish coming from Prince Alfred College. They're trying to mow down the early leaders. Christian Smith and Nick Christensen from Prince Alfred College, but they're not going to get there. St Virgil's are going to win it. Prince Alfred College will be second. Great race for third. I think Redlands, I reckon, has got third over the Southport School. And I looked away after that because there was a lot going on. Brisbane Grammar have finished 5th, Corio Bay 6th, the Southport School 7th, and North Esk 8th. So unofficially, St Virgil's first, second was Prince Alfred College, third Redlands, 4th the Southport School, the winning time 7:01.43, the margin 2.02 and 1.46. And if all the races are like that today, Lizzie,
you'll have no voice left.
We're going to have a cracking day, aren't we?
What a wonderful. Well, certainly the rest of the races look as though they're shaping up to be just as exciting. So congratulations, and let's confirm the results of the under-17 men's double scull. They're still provisional at the moment. The judges are just checking over this, but it looks as though St Virgil's, well, they were clearly in first place. Saxon Van Anholt and Llewellyn Gray. Congratulations on a great row to them. Second, Prince Alfred College, Christian Smith and Nick Christensen. In third, it looks as though it is Redlands, Thomas Hooper and Angus McKinns, just ahead of the Southport School's crew of George Smith and Harrison Howard. But what an amazing finish there. Pushing back into 5th position, Ezekiel Hutton and Oliver Kent. In 6th, Corio Bay's Ty and Zander Bailey. And in 7th, the Southport School, Kine Baird and William Box. And 8th, from North Esk, Jasper Twitchett and Samuel Detmer. The presentation of medals for the under-17 Women's Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Jason Lane, Rowing Australia's head of Pathways Rowing. Third place and bronze medalists representing Mossman Rowing Club, Frida Kirkham. Lottie Ravenstein. Frida and Lottie are coached by Ben Whitewolf, Tom Schramko and Kieran Kabelki. Second and silver medalists, Commercial Rowing Club. Summer Phillips. Sienna Becker. Summer and Sienna are coached by Ross Beto and David Van Das. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, Mossman Rowing Club. Eloise Stevens. Elise Coates. The crew is coached by Ben Whitewolf, Tom Schramko, Kieran Kabelki, and a special mention to Ian Coates. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our Australian champions and the medalists in the under-17 women's double scull.
So the under-19 women's double scull finals underway. In lane 1 is Sydney Rowing Club, Georgina Stevenson, Amelia de Villiers. Lane 2, Brisbane and GPS, Danielle Watt and Gabrielle Ryan. In lane 3, Loretto Marriotteville, ANU, Alex Perry Dalton and Emily Lang. In lane 4, Fremantle, Juliet Kelly and Sina Metzger. Lane 5, Sydney, Neve Tierney and Gabby Cypher. Lane 6, UTS Haberfield, Freya Bateman and Jade Bliss. Lane 7, Buckingham and Mersey, Lily Barker of Mersey, Poppy Kennett of Buckingham. And in lane 8 is Griffith Unisurface Paradise, Ruby Hodges and Courtney Davis. UTS Haberfield led through the 500 metre mark in 1:49, but the margins were 0 point with every margin on the way.
Oh, that's so fantastic. So the UTS Haberfield crew includes Jade Bliss in the stroke seat, and she won the gold medal in the under-19 single scull.
Impressively, if I recall correctly. So lane 4 from Mantle have moved through there now. They've got about a half a length lead over the UTS Haberfield crew. In second place, Fremantle, Juliet Kelly and Sina Metzger, coached by Alex Thompson. Down in the beautiful part of Western Australia, rowing a boat called the Joe Weish by the look of it. A former Australian team boat, an Olympic boat by the look of the sticker there. And then in second place is the crew from UTS Haberfield in the black, white and teal.
That's a big push from Fremantle, isn't it?
They've really put the hammer down, that crew from Fremantle, after the first 250 metres, and they've done a great job there. In third place is a crew from Sydney Rowing Club, Neve Tierney and Gabby Cypher. They're coached by Charlie Patterson.
And you recognise the name, the Cypher name from Northern Queensland. So this is
Central,
the third
Central
of the,
Queensland.
Sorry, Central Queensland.
From
so
Dingo, the girls
third
all,
of the Cypher sisters.
All 3 girls went to Dingo Primary School. So
Did they really? Good on them. So yes, all 3 sisters now rowing at Sydney Rowing Club. So Gabby, the youngest, who's arrived this season and made an impression.
Had spent a couple of years at Rockhampton Grammar and then finished her schooling at St Margaret's Anglican School in Brisbane.
So she's got a good rowing pedigree, that's for sure.
Yep. So Dad George and Mum Kim are in the grandstand. I saw them yesterday. George he was a late arrival, George. I hope he brought a note. But it is the crew from Fremantle in the Western Australian, likely to be in their Youth 8, I would think, at under 19 level, and they're very impressive indeed, Juliet Kelly and Sina Metzger. And they've just got a touch of clear water there, 5:39.20 over UTS Haberfield. Sydney in third place, and I reckon that's where the medals are. Loretto Marriotteville in fourth, then follows Buckingham Mersey. Across to the far side is the Brisbane and GPS and the Sydney Rowing Club crews. And on this side, the crew from Griffith Unisurface Paradise. But great footage of that M-Packer with a D4 bow number on it. And this crew from Fremantle, beautifully in sync. Coach will be very pleased with their effort, the race plan, the preparation, all coming together here on the day that counted. Australian Rowing Championships here at the Sydney International Regatta Centre, home of the Olympic Regatta in 2000, and these young athletes, aspirants, let's say, for the 2032 Olympic Games.
Yes.
To be held in southeast Queensland.
So Juliet and Sina were members of the WA Pathways 8 last year. So I know we keep mentioning this. That's provided by Rowing Australia, an interstate competition that takes place during the junior trials.
And it's about the 10th to the 14th or something of April?
Yes, I believe so, yeah. And the
Okay. One of our winners of a B final yesterday, I know, was in the Pathways 8. Conrad Scott from Brisbane Boys College won a B final. He's in the Pathways 8 for Queensland. But at the moment, it's the Fremantle crew, Juliet Kelly and Sina Metzger, measured their race out beautifully. They're going to get the gold medal over Freya Bateman and Jade Bliss of UTS Haberfield. Third will be Sydney, Neve Tierney, Gabby Cypher. Fourth will be the Buckingham Composite crew. Fifth then will be Lane 3, Loretto, Marriotteville and ANU. Sixth will be Brisbane and GPS. Seventh will be Sydney, and eighth will be Griffith Uni, Surfers Paradise.
So final crews across the line. Our results in the under-19 women's double. A silver medal will go to UTS Haberfield Rowing Club's Freya Bateman and Jade Bliss, and a bronze medal to Sydney Rowing Club's Neve Tierney and Gabby Cypher. Placing fourth, the Buckingham Mersey composite of Barker and Kennett. Fifth, the Loretto College Marriotteville ANU composite of Perry, Dalton and Lang. In sixth, Brisbane and GPS Rowing Club Watt and Ryan. In seventh, Sydney Rowing Clubs Stevenson and De Villiers. And in eighth, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise, Hodges and Davis.
Ready, you're up.
We move to the presentation of medals for the Under-17 Men's Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Jason Lane, Head of Pathways at Rowing Australia. Third place and bronze medalists, Redlands School. Thomas Hooper. Angus McInnes. The crew is coached by Alec Price, Timothy Robertson and James Petering. Second place and silver medalists, Prince Alfred College. Christian Smith. Nick Christensen. The crew is coached by Thomas Johnson. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, St Virgil's College. Saxon van Aanholt. Llewellyn Gray. The crew is coached by Oliver Wilson Haffenden. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate in the Under-17 Men's Double.
For the Tim Hawkins Memorial Trophy is underway. In Lane 1, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise, Luca Free and Jason McKenzie. Lane 2, Trinity Grammar, William Ball and Charlie White. Lane 3, Adelaide Uni, Adelaide, Cooper Hoskin and Alexander Williams. Lane 4, Mossman, Deanne Hansen and Oscar Shield Gamborg. Lane 5, UTS Haberfield, Hunter Valley Grammar, Luke Purdy of Hunter Valley and Kaylin Routley of UTS. Lane 6, Mossman, William Robertson and Tobias Elias. Lane 7, Norwood International High, Nicholas Halulis and Oliver Evans Wood. And Lane 8, Fremantle, Remy Payne and Liam Davis. So it's the scullers in Lane 4, the Mossman crew, Dion Hansen and Oscar Shield Gamborg, again coached by Tom Schramko and Kieran Kabelke, who lead this final to be rowed for the Tim Hawkins Memorial Trophy. Sadly, Tim Hawkins was an Australian champion in this event and was the only Tasmanian to lose his life in the Bali bombing. Younger brother, of course, of Olympic gold medalist Steve Hawkins Jr. So it is, look at this, Mossman, and beside them Adelaide Uni composite, then back to the UTS Haberfield composite, and the push coming from this composite crew, the stroke man in Lane 3, just had a very casual look across and thought, I think I can catch these blokes. And the crew from Mossman now really under the pump from the crew from lane 3. Cooper Hoskin of Adelaide and Alexander Williams of Adelaide University. He's in the stroke seat. They're coached by Sam Morton and Christine McLaren. Mossman in second place, and then back to UTS, Hunter Valley Grammar, Luke Purdy of Hunter Valley Grammar, Kaylin Routley of UTS, Odin McIntosh and Judith Ungermark, the coaches of that crew. And they've cleared out over the rest of the field, probably headed by the crew from Nick, coached by Brenton Tell. He's keeping a very close eye on them, the Adelaide Uni stroke man, Alexander Williams. He's going to end up with a sore neck, keep looking left like he does. No, he's got the head straight up and down now. There's someone yelling at him over there. Maybe that's what he's saying. And the Mossman crew, the early leaders, just lost their steering a moment there for a stroke or two. Straighten back up again now. And the UTS Haberfield Hunter Valley Grammar crew doing a terrific job in second place, the composite crew.
Yeah, Kaylin Routley, the UTS scholar, used to go to Newcastle Grammar, so Luke and Kaylin obviously know each other well from being around that area of New South Wales, and combining together in this double scull very successfully and challenging that very strong Mossman double of Shiel Gamborg and Hansen.
Who are the defending champions, Lizzie. They won this event last year at Capital Lakes.
Right.
The composite South Australian crew under the pump from the UTS Haberfield composite crew, and then Mossman are trying to lift. They're not going to go back to back, and I think the South Australians have got it. Hoskin and Williams over there in station 3. Great effort from Mossman to come back and finish second, and third will be UTS Haberfield Hunter Valley Grammar. Great race for fourth. Who's going to get there? Will it be lane 7? Yes, they will. They'll be fourth. Mossman fifth. Sixth is Griffith Uni. Seventh is lane 8. There's a photo for 7th and 8th.
So the under-19 men's double scull final, racing for the Tim Hawkins Memorial Trophy, won by the composite of Cooper Hoskin from Adelaide Rowing Club and Alexander Williams from Adelaide University Boat Club. In second from Mossman, Hansen and Shiel Gamborg, and in third, Purdy and Routley from UTS Haberfield and Hunter Valley Grammar. Fourth, Norwood International High, Halulos and Evanswood. Fifth, Mossman, Robertson and Elias. Sixth, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise Free and Mackenzie. Seventh, Fremantle, Payne and I think. The presentation of medals for the Under-19 Women's Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Jason Lane, Head of Pathways for Rowing Australia. Third and bronze medalist, Sydney Rowing Club. Neve Tierney. Gabby Cypher. The crew is coached by Charlie Patterson. Second and silver medalists, UTS Haberfield Rowing Club. Freya Bateman. And her colleague Jade Bliss. And the crew was coached by Jared Watson and Katie Healy. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, Fremantle Rowing Club. Juliet Kelly. And Zena Metzger. The crew was coached by Alex Thompson. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our national champions and medalists in the under-19 women's double scull. And we're on to the under-19 women's Coxless 4 final with Derwent Mercantile Collegiate Rowing Club of Tasmania in lane 2. Arkie O'Halloran, Tara Brown, Ava Parsons and Georgina Witt, coached by Neil Stump. The Wilderness School of South Australia in lane 3 with Alexandra Sandow, Emily Powers, Lulu Detmold and Cox and Millie Entwistle, coached by John Travass. In lane 4, a composite of Swan River and Sydney University Boat Club. Imogen Gray and Jessica Colbrand from Sydney Uni with Lila Fieve and Greta Spencer from Swan River Rowing Club, coached by Mark Beer, Alan Bennett and Alfie Young. In lane 5, a composite between the Wilderness School and Unley High, all of South Australia, Eleanor Nettlefold and Tamara Bates of Unley High with Imogen Hawker and Gia Rinaldi of Wilderness, coached by Daniel Ralph and John Travass. In lane 6, the Commercial Rowing Club of Queensland with Milena Wilcox, Bethany Harvest, Indiana Jenkinson and Rose Ricks, coached by David Van Das. And in lane 7, from the University of Queensland Boat Club, Nell Murphy, Lucy McFarlane, Astrid Thomas and Ava Mulholland, coached by Phil Bourguignon and Lily Lunny.
And it's the crew from the extremities of the country, Swan River and Sydney University. You can't get much further apart than that.
No surprises there. Imogen Gray, the stroke of last year's Australian Coxed 4 at the Junior World Championships. Jessica Colbrand, who was from the Pymble First 8. And Lila Fieves and Greta Spencer from the Australian Coxless 4 of the Junior World Championships last year.
And in second place is the Wilderness composite crew, Wilderness School and Unley High, Daniel Ralph and John Trovis. And then back to the University of Queensland crew. They're coached by Phil Bourguignon and Lily Lunny. I can see Phil on his bike right there. This crew from South Australia, Wilderness School and Unley High, so obviously all still at school in this under-19 and doing a terrific job in second place.
I've been very impressed by Unley High, actually.
Yeah.
Caught up with Daniel earlier in the regatta and I think they're going very well, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. And the University of Queensland holding down third place. I see the commercial crew there rowing a boat called the Wally Hughes. Wally Hughes was an old man when I was a young man in rowing, so it's great to see that the club continue to recognise a bloke who was a legend of commercial rowing club, and once upon a time the boat shed was named the Wall Hughes Shed, so I'm not sure if their new shed is named after Wall, but it's great to see they have a boat named after Wally Hughes. But at the moment it's the Swan River Sydney University composite crew. Mark Beer coaching the Swan River pair, Lila Fieve and Greta Spencer, and Alan Bennett and Alfie Young coaching the Sydney Uni pair, Imogen Gray and Jessica Colbrand. Second place, Wilderness School, Eleanor Nettlefold of Unley High, Tamara Bates of Unley High, Imogen Hawker and Gia Rinaldi of the Wilderness School, Daniel Ralph and John Trovis are the coaches. Then back to University of Queensland, Nell Murphy, Lucy McFarlane, Astrid Thomas, Ava Mulholland, part of the massive group of young females coming through that Phil Bourguignon and Lily Lunny are coaching. They're the medalists at this stage and look comfortably so. It's quite a margin back now to the Wilderness School in fourth place. Then follows Derwent Mercantile Collegiate, and the crew from Commercial is in sixth place as they leave the 1,000 metre mark. There's two races within the race and a very, very big lead for the first three over the second three. See Alan Bennett and Alfie Young riding along there, keeping an eye on the crew.
With their helmets on?
Yeah, with
very
their helmets
to see
on.
That, yeah. So, yeah, that crew there from University of Queensland, we've got the bronze medalist from the under-19 single there, Astrid Thomas, and the fourth placed Lucy McFarlane. So a nice strong four, middle pair, I should say, in that four. But we can see in that Sydney University Swan River crew, Imogen Gray there in the stroke seat, It was her first junior team last year in the Coxed Four, and as I said, the other two in the Coxless Four for Australia. We've already seen Imogen and Jessica, take out, I think was it the under-21 yesterday? I think they're in the under-19 pair and the under-21 pair. It must have been the under-19s.
Yeah.
Under-21s is later today.
And the second crew have a tandem rig there on the bow side.
Yeah.
I would look at this crew, will you?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they are. Yeah, and I'm sure, knowing our selectors, they will be looking quite closely, yes.
So they'll be back here in April for trials, and I would imagine they're trying to be selected in this actual boat category, I would think. So rowing nicely together, and as Lizzie has alluded to, a level of experience that the rest of the field does not have, with 3 of them already representing at
in Paris, because the year before a World Championships, the juniors is usually, or certainly the Olympics is the test event, isn't it? So
traditionally, yes.
Yes, I think they had an interesting time in Paris.
I was in Paris in October, and I had an interesting time as well, and I fear for some of the things that are going on there.
It won't be quite the Paralympics. Well, it certainly won't be anything like the Olympics and Paralympics we had in Tokyo, will it?
There's still a few construction sites that I had to walk around, that's for sure. But beautifully decked out here. The timing is impeccable for this crew, this composite crew. 2 from Sydney Uni, 2 from Swan River Rowing Club. You can't get much further apart than that. And the blades are very, very parallel. Their entries are sharp, and their finishes are nice and clean. Well coached. Obviously well coached. The crew in second place, the Wilderness School Unley High crew, and then back to the University of Queensland Boat Club crew. But it's 2.5 lengths by 2.5 lengths. A very commanding win for Swan River Sydney Uni. Second, Wilderness Unley High composite. Third, University of Queensland Boat Club. Fourth then will be the crew from the Wilderness School, so well done to Wilderness. They've got 6 school program. 5th will be Derwent Mercantile, and 6th will be the crew from Commercial.
And as our final crews cross the line, we can confirm the results of the Under-19 Women's Coxless 4 final. A win for Swan River and Sydney University Boat Club. Second, Wilderness School and Unley High. Third, the University of Queensland Boat Club. Fourth, Wilderness School. Fifth, the Derwent Mercantile Collegiate Rowing Club, and 6th Commercial Rowing Club. The winning time, the provisional time, was 6 minutes 57.89. The margins 6.79 and 5.92. The presentation of medals for the Under-19 Men's Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Jason Lane, Head of Park. And third and bronze medalists, UTS Haberfield and Hunter Valley Grammar School. Luke Purdy from Hunter Valley Grammar School. Kaylin Routley from UTS Haberfield. The crew is second and silver medalists, Mossman Rowing Club. Dion Hansen. Oscar Schiel-Gamborg. The crew is coached by Tom Schramko and Kieran Kabelke. gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, Adelaide University and Adelaide Rowing Club. Cooper Hoskin from Adelaide. Alexander Williams from Adelaide University Boat Club. The crew is coached by Sam Morton, Christine McLaren. The Adelaide composite crew is now being presented with the Tim Hawkins Memorial Trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our Australian champions and our medalists in the under-19 men's double scull. And we're on to our next race, which is the under-19 women's Coxed 4 final with Loreto Kirribilli and Sydney Rowing Club in a composite in lane 1, Avery Bramble, Grace Woodward, Eva Eales and Zoe Fallon with Emma Bunbury coxing them. A composite between UTS Haberfield and Sydney in lane 2, Olivia Kelly, Sarah Bebbington, Sienna Morgan and Jade Bliss with Ryder Taylor coxing them. In lane 3, St Catherine's School, New South Wales, Chelsea Baker, Isabel Yardley, Madeline Swain and Leela Gaston coxed by Jasmine Abela. In lane 4, Queenwood School from New South Wales, Brooke Cuttance, Zara Taylor, Gemma McLaren and Addison Rolls coxed by Melody Yin. In lane 5, Furbank Grammar from Victoria, Poppy Dalton Morris, Amelie Grace, Ella Bailey. In lane High and Loreto Corridge Marryatville, Poppy Omani coxed by Sophia College of Victoria, Phoebe Mayer, Mackenzie Kopka-Veltus, Annabelle Maloney and Taya Kirsanovs coxed by Cooper Knoll. And are completing our lineup of 8 crews, Wendouree Ballarat Rowing Club in lane 8, with Emma Gowans, Daisy Walsh, Meg Lynch and Georgia Miller coxed by Grace Bales.
Catherine's crew and Queenwood going out there with them. The St Catherine's crew has Jade Bliss in the stroke seat. 30 minutes ago she was racing in the under-19 women's double scull, winning a bronze medal in that. And she's now in one of the medal positions. Still early days, coming up through the 750 metre mark. So St Catherine's leading Queenwood and Furbank Grammar are in third. And then it is a good race going on for fourth position. The UTS Haberfield Sydney crew, Kelly, Bebbington, Morgan and Bliss, I should say, in fourth position. And Loreto Kirribilli Sydney Rowing Club over on the far side of the course having a good tussle with Pembroke Composite. So St Catherine's leading Baker, Yardley, Swain, Gaston, and they're looking very good. Part of that powerful St Catherine's 8 that we saw yesterday go through the halfway in 3:14 for a schoolgirl 8, which is pretty incredible. And they're looking in control here. It's just started to move out to around about half a boat length's advantage over Queenwood School. And Furbank Grammar sitting a similar margin back in third place. Through the 1,000 metres, St Catherine's leading Queenwood and Furbank, and then the Sydney UTS crew in fourth, Loreto Kirribilli Sydney in fifth, and they're followed by Pembroke, Scotch, Adelaide, Unley High, Loreto Marryatville, and then the Head of Lake champions Ballarat Clarendon College are in seventh place, Wendouree Ballarat Rowing Club in eighth position. See Ray Boyle and Alfie Young there from the Queenwood School on the bikes, watching Queenwood School in second position there. Just behind them, you'll see the frame of the Irish Olympian Richard Coakley in the blue shirt, watching his St Catherine's School crew in the race lead, and they're looking very measured, very controlled, and these gaps of around about half a length, touch more between second and third. Looks as though these three crews are just starting to move away in the Gaston, Jasmine Abella, Rick Coxon, Jared Watson and Rich Coakley. It's not looking too rushed at all. It's not looking too pressured at all. 32 strokes a minute to the St Catherine's crew in the race lead. And Queenwood just starting to just pinch a seat every now and then on the Furbank Grammar School crew in the race for second spot. So Furbank in third, and then there's Clearwater. Back to the remaining crews, Loretto, Kirribilli, Sydney, UTS Sydney, and then the Pembroke composite crew from a number of clubs from South Australia. So you can see the Sydney UTS crew coming across in fourth, and they're followed by the SA composite and then Loretto, Kirribilli, Sydney crew. Ballarat Clarendon still in seventh, and Wendouree Ballarat are in eighth place. So it's been a control performance from St Catherine's School in Waverley in Sydney. They bowed out of UTS Haberfield Rowing Club at Haberfield or Lilyfield at the end of Iron Cove, and they're just starting to move out and get out towards the best part of a boat length, coming up towards the 1700 metre mark. It looks as though the medals are going to go the way of St Catherine's, Queenwood and Furbank, with the Sydney UTS crew a little bit too far back to strike, it would seem. Likewise, the South Australian Composite and Loretto, Kirribilli, Sydney. So they're the top six, and the two Ballarat crews on this side of the course, Ballarat Clarendon College and Wendouree Ballarat Rowing Club, they look destined to finish in 7th and 8th place. So the margin's starting to extend as we get into the last 120 metres. St Catherine's School from New South Wales in control of this under-19 Women's Cox 4 Championship of Australia. From the Queenwood School in second spot, Furbank Grammar are in third, nearly neat boat length separating the three medalists as they head up towards the line. So a fine win for St Catherine's School, in control the whole way. Gun to tape first, second Queenwood School, Furbank Grammar third. And then we have a couple of lengths of Clearwater back to the UTS Haberfield Sydney Rowing Club composite. Rounds out 5th and 6th, Ballarat Clarendon 7th, and Wendouree Ballarat in 8th place. So 7:14 the unofficial time for the under-19 Women's Cox 4.
Presentation of medals for the Under-19 Women's Coxless Fours. The medals will be presented by Jason Lane, Head of Pathways at Rowing Australia. In third place, and bronze medalists representing the University of Queensland Boat Club, Nell Murphy, Lucy McFarlane, Astrid Thomas, Ava Mulholland, and they're coached by Philip Bergignon and Lily Lunny. Second place and silver medalists representing the Wilderness School and Unley High, Eleanor Nettlefold, Tamara Bates, Imogen Hawker, Gio Rinaldi. They're coached by Daniel Ralph and John Trovis. And our winners and Australian champions for 2024, representing Swan River Rowing Club and Sydney University Boat Club. Imogen Gray, Jessica Colburn, Lila Fieves, Greta Spencer, coached by Mark Beer, Alan Bennett and Alfie Young. Please congratulate our 2024 Australian champions and medalists. As we're moving on now to race 361, it's the final of the Under-19 men's Coxless Fours. In lane 3, representing St Joseph's Nudgee College, Jordan Wendt, Atticus Nielsen, Will Dawson and Hugh Jackson. In lane 4, we have a University of Queensland St Augustine's College composite of Thomas Stevens, Jason Cow, William Pender, Samuel Forbes, coached by Randall Martin, Judith Ungamak and Philip Bergignon. In lane 5, from Prince Alfred College in South Australia, Sam Stenell, Jack Wilkin, Samuel Remelay, Max Garnett and coached by Nathan Bowden. And lane 6 from St Peter's College in South Australia, Vincent Baroni, Lawrence Anderson, George Griffith and Hugh Hazel.
And it's the University of Queensland St Augustine's crew that has started to push out here in this first 500 metres. It's the combination that was first in the under-19 men's pair, Thomas Stevens and Samuel Forbes, and Jason Sow and William Pender, who were fourth in the under-19 men's Coxless pair. They're coached by Randall Martin, Judith Ungamark, Phil Bergignon, and they're just starting to shine out here, but we could be in for a clash of blades here between two great South Australian rivals. We've just panned away St Peter's and Prince Alfred College. The St Peter's, and it looks as though they're trying to rectify that, and I think a few steering changes here, which you probably weren't expecting to see, but the two South Australian rivals, Nathan Bowden, of course, was at St Peter's College and has moved across to Prince Alfred College, and no surprise to see a resurgence in their fortunes. And St Peter's College with Wade Hall-Craggs, who the former Durham University head coach, is heading up the program over at St Peter's, who have been a very successful boys' school in South Australia over the last 9 years. In fourth place, we have St Joseph's Nudgee College in the blue colours over to the right of screen or to the southern side, depending on where you're located and watching these Australian Rowing Championships from. But it's been a strong first 500. It's been a stronger second 500 for the St Augustine's University of Queensland composite crew. They have a length of clear water between themselves and the second place Prince Alfred College crew. And St Peter's College are in third place with Nudgee in fourth.
And it's not a huge surprise there, Owen, to see University of Queensland St Augustine's crew leading in a sweep race. We've seen St Augustine's with some fantastic fours, both the Cox fours and Coxless fours over the last few years under the Ungamaks. And the University of Queensland have had some strong results too in the pairs over the last few days or so. So, as I say, no surprise that they're leading this fours race.
Yes, the last 2 years, St Augustine's have had the Australian Junior Coxed four, and Randall Martin has done a terrific job with Phil Bergignon at the University of Queensland, as Stuart mentioned. So a very strong performance here, and they're continuing to pull away in this third 500 metres. Nudgee have come back into it though, so it was a conservative start by them. They looked as though they could have been dropped, but it's been a spirited performance from Jordan Wendt, Atticus Nielsen, Will Dawson and Hugh Jackson. Of course, Nudgee, a rowing program that's only been going 20 or so years, and they've won 9 Head of the Rivers in the first 8s up in Brisbane. And John Bowes was coach there for 7 of those 9. He's one of the most successful Queensland school coaches. He's moved on to a job at Rowing Australia, and Nudgee in that rebuilding phase, and good to see them doing well here and competitive in this under-19 men's Coxless 4 and in the mix for the bronze. passing the bridge, which is at about 1,400 metres. University of Queensland, St Augustine's. So in second place we have Prince Alfred College, will come into view shortly, followed by St Peter's College, and as you can see, St Joseph's Nudgee over on the far side of the course, about 3/4 of a boat length down. So it's a fast boat, the Coxless 4, so it's a bit of a deficit to overcome. So we'll see what sort of a sprint the Nudgee crew can muster if they're able to try and take one of the medals away from one of these South Australian crews that's in the minor medals, but it looks as though the shiniest of all will go to the University of Queensland St Augustine's crew. Prince Alfred College, they're in second spot, and Nudgee just having a few little steering alterations in their lane. And now they're starting to get back towards the centre of their lane, but it's the University of Queensland whose colours you can see on screen at the moment, and getting some good footy. Members, along with 2 members of St Augustine's College from Manly, New South Wales. Nudgee, they're at 33 strokes a minute. It doesn't look like they're able to find a big sprint finish to try and take the bronze medal away from St Peter's College, but it will be the University of Queensland and St Augustine's dominant in the under-19 men's Coxless 4. They're national champions. And the Princes, Prince Alfred College, will claim the silver medal. St Peter's College will claim the bronze medal, and St Joseph's Nudgee College will place 4th.
Presentation of medals for the under-19 women's Coxed 4s. The medals will be presented by Jason Lane, Head of Pathways at Rowing Australia. In third place, the crew of Poppy Dalton Morris, Emily Grace, Ella Bailey, and Frankie Diva. They're coxed by Aurelia Fife. In second place, and silver medalists, Queenwood School. Their crew, Brooke Cuttons, Zara Taylor, Gemma McLaren, Addison Rolls, and their coxswain, Melody Yin. They're coached by Kieran Glynn and Ray Boyle. And our gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, St Catherine's School. The winning crew, Chelsea Baker, Isabel Yardley, Madeline Swain, Layla Gaston, and they're coxed by Jasmine Abela. They're coached by Jared Watson and Richard Coakley. Please congratulate our 2024 Australian champions and medalists. We're moving on now to race number 362. It's the final of the Under-19 Men's Coxed 4. Lane 1 from Brisbane Boys College. We have Jonathan Sinclair Ford, Edward Thin, Gray O'Neill, Stephen Fell, coxed by Campbell Baird and coached by Blaine Hesseltine. In lane 2 from Unley High in South Australia, Patrick Lee, Christian Yates, Rio Manning, Bailey Hancock, Jessica Lobban is the coxswain and coached by Tim Whitburn. In lane 3 from the Friends School down in Tasmania, Remy Ziegler, Thomas Campbell-Jones, Sebastian Anderson, Henry Manning and Izzy Leckie is the coxswain, coached by Ian Jordan. Lane 4 from Ballarat Clarendon College, Stuart Hall, Max Mason, James Forsyth, Charlie McClure, Reece Belcher is the coxswain and coached by Ian Peel. Lane 5 from St Patrick's College Ballarat, Ned Bennett, Angus Murfitt, Paddy O'Brien, Henry Reiner, Jarvis McLean is the coxswain. College in Sydney, Henry Pursehouse, Samuel Stewart, Edison Lowe, Charles Brand, Conrad Lowe is the coxswain and they're coached by Amos Noon. Lane 7 from Prince Alfred College, Hugo Knight, Louis Dawson, Eli Roberts, Angus Williams, Alex Hamoud is the coxswain, coached by Nathan Bowden. And then in lane 8 from Scotch College Adelaide, Max Brammy, Oscar Cattell, Patrick Keenan, Lee Wingard, Lucy Sapelt is the coxswain and they're coached by James Sapelt.
So Ballarat Clarendon College have stolen a march here on their great rival St Patrick's College from Ballarat. At the head of the lake, it was St Patrick's that had a narrow victory over Ballarat Clarendon College, and at the moment it's been reversed as they come up towards the 750 metre mark. Good race going on for third spot with Scots College Sydney leading the Friends School from Tasmania, and very even then for 5th and 6th with Unley High School and Prince Alfred College having a good tussle, and then back to Brisbane Boys College and Scotch College Adelaide on this side of the course with the Yellow Spoons that are in 8th position. So in the boat named... Well, a few Olympics ago now, and they've managed to nearly move out to a boat length. So is this the... Ballarat Clarendon College, or will St Patrick's College Ballarat realise that they've beaten these guys before? So can they find something in this second 1,000 to really challenge them for this national championship? Great race still going on for third, Friends and Scots College. And then we see Unley High School and the two South Australian schools going at it, Prince Alfred College being the other, and Brisbane Boys and Scotch College Adelaide vying out. So this field taking a real chevron formation through that 1,000 metre mark with the leaders in the centre, and results petering out to the flanks of the field. So on screen, Ballarat Clarendon College, they are boated with Stuart Hall, Max Mason, James Forsyth, Charlie McClure and Reece Belcher, coxing. Ian Peel, the coach. They're looking good, they're looking efficient. You can see the blade depth not going too deep, and they're drawing St Patrick's College Ballarat out. So these two enjoying some good clear water over the Friends School that have just pushed away from Scots College, who are now getting relegated back into 5th position, as Unley High School have moved up into 4th place. So a great race developing in the battle for the bronze medal. But Ballarat Clarendon College, looking pretty strong. There doesn't look to be too many chinks in their armour as they make their way up towards the 1400 metre mark. Still in the lead and in control over St Patrick's College Ballarat.
And perfect conditions out there, Owen. There's barely a breath of wind, and you can see there the water absolutely lovely and flat. The temperature around about 20, just under 20 degrees or so. Humidity starting to come down, so it's very about as pleasant as you can get when you're in an A final rowing over 2 kilometres.
Yeah, they won't be thinking of too many pleasantries at the moment, with their legs will be burning, and you'll see Jarvis McLean, the coxswain of the St Patrick's College Ballarat crew. What can he do to get his crew and get their bow in front in this last 500 metres? But at Ballarat Clarendon College, still with the advantage, and barest of overlaps between first and second in this one. Ballarat Clarendon College looking the goods. In third spot we have the Friends School from Hobart in Tasmania. Good performances coming on this side of the course. We've seen Scotch College Adelaide, who had a very conservative start, and they've just been chugging away in lane number 8 and moved up alongside Prince Alfred College and Scots College from Bellevue Hill in Sydney, who started very, very strongly indeed, now could find themselves moving right down the rankings. But the head of the field, Ballarat Clarendon College, St Patrick's have the overlap. Do they have the confidence from the head of the lake wind to try and mow them down in the last 150 metres? It looks like it's too big of a margin. Ballarat Clarendon look pretty bulletproof. We're getting into the last 14 or 15 strokes, and Ballarat Clarendon College with the advantage. And they're looking strong. St Patrick's still with an overlap, but Ballarat Clarendon have responded. So what a fine reversal from the head of the lake we're seeing from Ballarat Clarendon College. They're going to take the national championship out, and they're going to do it by almost a boat length. So a fine win. St Patrick's Ballarat get the silver medal. You can see the coxswain bashing the bow canvas there, disappointed with that silver medal. You see what it means to them. The Friends School from Hobart claim the bronze. Fourth goes to Unley High School from South Australia. Scotch College, the great improvers, they claim 5th ahead of Prince Alfred College of South Australia. Scots College finish in 7th. 8th.
Presentation of medals for the Under-19 Men's Coxless Fours. The medals will be presented by Jason Lane, Head of Pathways at Rowing Australia. In third place, their crew of Vincent Baroni, George Griffith, and Hugh Hazel. Second place and silver medalists, Prince Alfred College. Their crew, Sam Stenell, Jack Wilkin, Samuel Remolay, and Max Garnett. They're coached by Nathan Bowden. And our gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, University of Queensland and St Augustine's College. The winning crew, Thomas Stevens, Jason Cow, William Pender and Samuel Forbes. They're coached by Randall Martin, Judith Ungermack and Philip Bergignon. Please congratulate the 2024 Australian champions and medalists. We're going to move from the fours, still keep 4 oars in the water, but only 2 people in the boats with race number 363, the Under-21 Women's Double Scull Final. In lane 1 from Banks Rowing Club, we have Francesca Spano and Molly Whiteman, coached by Eleanor Crute. In lane 2 from Toowong Rowing Club, Alice O'Toole and Georgia Campbell, coached by Alex Field and Claire Raven. Lane 3 from Sydney Rowing Club, Paige Critchlow and Madison Joins, coached by Lachlan Carter and Florence Griffiths. In lane 4, we have a Sydney University Yarra Yarra composite of Zara Kafuri and Zoe Bond, coached by Alfie Young and Stefano Belosso. In lane 5 from Sydney Rowing Club, Liesl Page and Talisa Noak Driver, coached by Lachlan Carter and Florence Griffiths. Lane 6 from Mersey Rowing Club, Olivia Yates and Ella Spalding, coached by David Tippett. Lane 7 from Griffith University Surfers Paradise and Commercial Rowing Clubs, we have Paris Reed and Gemma Jansen van Buren, coached by Jacinta Edmonds and Anthony Cook. And lane 8, it's a straight commercial crew of Sarah Scobie and Lucy White, coached by Jacinta Edmonds.
There's a crew from Mersey that have taken it to the field in this first 500 metres. They're now just starting to be eclipsed by Zara Kafuri of Yarra Yarra and Zoe Bond of Sydney University, who were 3rd and 2nd in the Under-21 women's single scull from yesterday. So Sydney Uni Yarra Yarra lead, Mersey in 2nd spot, and then it's back to Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise in 3rd, Paris Reed and Gemma Jansen van Vuren. And that's the first 3 through that 500 metres. So Zoe Bond in the stroke seat. She was in the Australian Junior Double Scull 2 years ago, teaming up there with Zara Kafuri. And Kafuri, a very good sculler, as many of them are, that are coached by David Orchard. So they've got the lead. Mersey in 2nd. You can see in 3rd the Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise composite of Reed and Jansen van Vuren. And next we have Liesl Page and Talisa Noak Driver, and you would not discount these two. Noak Driver was in the Australian Junior Double 2 years ago with Zoe Bond, who's in the adjacent lane, and Liesl Page is one of the most determined athletes I think I've ever. That's what you lead in that third 500 metres of a race. Starting to creep up on the Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise commercial crew in lane number 7, but at the head of the field, Yarra Yarra Sydney University just moving out to Clearwater over Mersey, who in turn have Clearwater themselves over the race for 3rd place. So Zoe Bond to the left of screen, she started off her rowing at Canberra Grammar School, which was newly co-ed at the time, and part of a very successful quad sculler had at Canberra Grammar School at the time. And there was Zara Kafuri leading through the halfway mark, and positions remain unchanged for the top 4. In 5th is Paige Critchlow, Madison Joiners of Sydney Rowing Club, then followed by Banks and Toowong in that race over there on the far side of the course in lanes 1 and 2, and then back to Commercial in lane 8, who are currently in 8th place. Very controlled, very focused. The Yarra Yarra Sydney University crew just staying in their boat, in their lane, and it's working for them. A couple of lengths to the good over the crew from Mersey that really threw out the early challenge. two commercial. Griffith University Page with a long ponytail in the bow seat of the crew in lane number 5, Talisa Noak Driver in the stroke seat. And then over to the other Sydney crew in lane 3, Paige Critchlow in the bow seat, and Madison Joiners, a former Penrith junior that's transferred across to Sydney Rowing Club this season. And they're in the hunt for the medals in this one, but it looks as though the gold medal is looking like it's going to end up at Yarra Yarra and Sydney University Boat Club. Zara Kafuri in the bow seat, Zoe Bond in the stroke seat, and they're making their way through the 1500 metre mark with clear water and a lot of it over the rest of the field. So the Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise Composite crew have really suffered in that third 500 metres. The two Sydney crews have eclipsed them. And it looks like the Sydney crews could be vying for that bronze medal between them. So a great inter-club battle between Critchlow and Joiners and Page and Noak Driver. Sydney University boat named the Cam Girdleston after the Olympic bronze medalist. And Cam, a terrific ambassador for the sport. And a very, very good role model. So a strong second half of the race coming from Paige Critchlow, Madison Joiners of Sydney Rowing Club. They're in fourth going through the 1500 metre mark, and they're now challenging, moving up into the bronze medal position. And can they challenge the Mersey crew that started this race off so strongly? That's them on screen there in bow number 3. Critchlow in the bow seat, Joiners in the stroke seat. At the head of the field, Yarra Yarra Sydney University Boat Club. They have been unparalleled in this one. They are dominant with just over 100 metres to go. Where will the minor medals end up? Mersey still in the silver medal position. Can Noak Driver and Page mount a finish? Back in 5th position is the commercial Griffith University Surfers Paradise crew, but the national champions will be Zara Kafuri of Yarra Yarra and Zoe Bond of Sydney University Boat Club. Mersey are going to hold on for the silver medal, and the two yellow boats from Sydney Rowing Club will fight it out for the bronze medal. Who'll get that last stroke in? I think it might have been Liesl Page and Talisa Noak Driver, but we'll await the photo finish for that one for 3rd and 4th. 5th goes to Griffith Uni Commercial, 6th to Toowong Rowing Club, 7th Banks, and 8th Commercial.
Presentation of medals for the Under-19 Men's Cox Fours. The medals will be presented by John Bowes, Pathways Transition Manager at Rowing Australia. Third place and bronze medalists, the Friends School. Crew of Remy Ziegler, Thomas Campbell-Jones, Henry Manning, and coxed by Izzy Leckie. They're coached by Ian Jordan. Second place and silver medalists, St Patrick's College Ballarat. The crew of Ned Bennett, Angus Murfitt, and coxed by Jarvis McLean. They're coached by David O'Doherty. And champions for two. Max Mason, James Forsyth, Charlie, their coxswain, Reece Belcher, please congratulate our 2024 Australian champions and medalists.
Confirming that result of the photo finish, it was the Sydney Rowing Club crew, Liesl Page and Talisa Noak Driver, that claimed the bronze medal, 0.04 of a second ahead of Paige Critchlow and Madison Joiners, also of Sydney Rowing Club.
Such an amazingly tight finish there in the battle for bronze, and some yeah, so such a tight battle there, 0.04 of a second. That's about the width of a bow ball over a double scull, so absolutely nothing in it there between the two Sydney crews. On screen now is the men's under-21 double scull final. In lane 1, we have a Fremantle West Australian composite of Charlie Stevenson and Jacob Cassie, coached by Alex Thompson. In lane 2, from Scotch Oakburn College and Tasmania University, we have Oliver Shearing and Cameron Parker, coached by Sean Finlayson and Brendan Long. In lane 3, from Hawthorn Rowing Club, Max Curry and William Hexter. In lane 4, from Adelaide and Cairns Rowing Club, supported by the Queensland Academy of Sport and the South Australian Sports Institute, Chad Willett and Adam Holland, coached by Nicholas Mitchell. In lane 5, from UTS Haberfield, Oscar Baregi and Jack Power, coached by Matthias and Judith Ungamak. In lane 6, we have a Corio Bay Sydney composite of Nicholas Whalen and Charles Raden. In lane 7, from Griffith University Surfers Paradise and Toowong Rowing Clubs, Nicholas Barlow and Benjamin Shuttlewood, coached by Mark Game and Christopher Holliday. And then lane 8, from Adelaide University, Jude Shermer and Jasper Boyce, and they're coached by Nicholas Mitchell, Christine McLaren and Sam Morton.
It was the Adelaide canned composite with the South Australian Sports Institute and the QAS on screen there. You can see in the colours of Adelaide Rowing Club, Adam Holland, and in the colours of Cairns Rowing Club from Brisbane, Queensland, Chad Willett, who's been in the Australian junior team the last couple of years. And they're leading, but they don't have it all their own way over a crew that is giving away quite a few kilograms to them. That is the crew of Nicholas Whalen and Charlie Raden. Charlie Raden, Penrith Cup winner already, and he's in an under-21 men's double scull. He's there with Nick Whalen, who is normally a lightweight. He's decided not to worry too much about lightweight events at this regatta and focus on just rowing in the underage events without any weight restrictions, and they're doing very, very well indeed, and still maintaining a good overlap with them as they head up towards 1,350 metres gone. The purple colours of Corio Bay Rowing Club, Charlie Raden there. He's coached by Lee Hall Sullivan and Nicholas Whalen. And they're only sitting about half a canvas down, so they're looking pretty strong here. We'll see what sort of a sprint finish the canned Adelaide crew have. There you can see in That race for third spot, Oscar Beregi in the bow seat of the UTS crew in lane number 5, and Jack Power, who was in the Australian Junior Double Scull a year or so ago, and currently in the bronze medal position, Fremantle West Australian Rowing Club. That's Stevenson and Cassie over on the far side of the course are in 4th. 5th is Adelaide University. Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise are in 6th. They're followed by Hawthorn and then the Scotch Oakburn Tasmania University Boat Club Composite. So as we get down to it, it's a great race going on here for the gold medal. You can see the big crew of Willett and Holland in lane number 4 in the white boat, in the yellow boat, Raden and Whalen. And it's going to get down to it. The sprint finish here, have the lightweights got the ability to jack the rating up, and the heavyweights have the crew or the ability to power away from them. In the race for the bronze medal, UTS Haberfield starting to really shine here and fend off the challenge from the Western Australians over on the far side of the course, Fremantle and West Australian Rowing Club. And they're the top 4, and the race for 5th position's an enthralling one here with the other 4 crews fighting it out. But the medals look to be going the way of the canned Adelaide Rowing Club Composite crew, who have lifted their rating, and they've gone from having about half a canvas advantage to about half a length, and it's starting to grow a little bit. So could this be the decisive push here? Chad Willett, Adam Holland gone up to 41 strokes a minute. Whalen and Raden, they're down a few points, 38 strokes a minute as we get into the last 4 or 5 strokes. So Adam Holland and Chad Willett will be the under-21 men's double scull champions of Australia. A length in the end the margin over a gallant performance from Whalen and Raden, who claimed the silver medal. Oscar Beregi and Jack Power claim the bronze. And then 4th goes to the crew from Western Australia, the Fremantle Composite with West Australian Rowing Club. Adelaide University 5th. Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise Toowong was 6th, followed by Scotch Oakburn, Tasmania University and Hawthorn Rowing Club faded to finish 8th.
Presentation of medals for the Women's Under-21 Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by John Bowes, Pathways Transition Manager at Rowing Australia. Third place and bronze medalists, Sydney Rowing Club. Their crew of Liesl Page and Talisa Noak Driver. They're coached by Lachlan Carter and Florence Griffiths. Second place and silver medalists, Mersey Rowing Club. Their crew of Olivia Yates and Ella Spalding. They're coached by David Tippett. And our gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, Sydney University and Yarra Yarra Rowing Club. The crew of Zara Kafuri and Zoe Bond. They're coached by Alfie Young and Stefano Belosso. Please congratulate our 2024 Australian champions and medalists. And we are now underway in race number 365. It's the under-21 women's Coxed Fours. You can see there we've got some fantastic footage from the van going down alongside the course, so we'll be able to get a real idea as to where our boats are sitting as they come down. In lane number 1 from Sydney University, we have Alexandra O'Brien, Alyssa Fickers, Jessica Colburn, Imogen Gray, Chloe Giretta is the coxswain, and they're coached by Alan Bennett and Alfie Young. In lane 2, we have an Adelaide University Wilderness School composite of Isabel Jackson, Carolyn McNally, Deanna Macalino, Zara Hoadley, coxed by Sophia Tayeb and coached by Christine McLaren and Sam Morton. In lane 3 from Melbourne University, Tiffany Crossthwaite, Chloe Nevins, Meg Dumbrell, Jemima Wilcox and coxed by Jackie Evans. In lane 4 from Adelaide Rowing Club, Tamika Coveney, Hannah Cloughton, Sky Mumford, Aliyah Altus, Harriet Williams is the cox, and they're coached by Ron Mobbs and Darren Potts. Lane 5 from Mercantile and UTS, we have Grace Burke, Zoe Kaur, Sienna Morgan, Mia Harrison, coxed by Jess Rollo. In lane 6 from Wendouree Ballarat, University of Queensland and Swan River, Lila Fieves, Greta Spencer, Georgia Montague, Lucy Richardson, Grace Bales is the coxswain and they're coached by Mark Beard, Jamie McDonald and Philip Bergignon. In lane 7 from Mercantile Rowing Club, Grace Ivers, Imogen Nation, Abigail Cox, Jess Hawker and Isabel Finch is the cox. And then lane 8 from the University of Queensland, Edie Russell, Ruby Dollar, Alice Reedy, Tyler Hutton, Annabelle Rosie Dodd is the coxswain. They're coached by Philip Bergignon.
It's been an enthralling first 500 metres. Melbourne University really powered off the start. They pinched about half a boat length. They were so aggressive and it worked for them getting out of the start. But as they're starting to find the rhythm, it is the University of Queensland crew in lane number 8 that's moved up, along with the Wendouree Ballarat UQ Swan River crew and Sydney University over on the far side of the course. Melbourne University very strong at getting the boat moving, plus the weight of the coxswain out of the start. But as these boats are up to running speed, they're starting to have a few crews come up alongside of them and even surpass them with the University of Queensland crew in the race lead. A very good technical crew, as you'd expect from Phil Bergignon, the head coach at the University of Queensland. So they're passing the bridge, which indicates 750 metres covered. And the combination from University of Queensland, Edie Russell, Ruby Dollar, Alice Reddy, Tyler Hutton and Annabelle Rosie Dodd, the coxswain, in the race lead. But looming large is the Wendouree Ballarat UQ Swan River crew in lane number 6. They've started to pull out to about half a boat length's advantage over the early race leaders, Melbourne University. So that's the crew of Lila Fiove, Greta Spencer out of the Australian junior team last year, Georgia Montague, Lucy Richardson, who's been in the Australian junior team a couple of years now in the stroke seat of that boat with the star on her back, and she's one of the rising stars of this regatta, Lucy Richardson. And they're just starting to push up and into the race lead. So the Western Australian composite crew, the Swan River University of Queensland Wendouree Ballarat crew in the race lead ahead of the University of Queensland. Melbourne University still there in 3rd spot, and Sydney University about 4/5 of a boat length back in 4th position. They're followed by Mercantile Rowing Club in 5th, and then the Adelaide University Wilderness School composite in 6th position.
Now we will see a number of these rowers rowing Sunday afternoon at the Interstate Championships for their respective state youth eights. So a number from Sydney University in the New South Wales crew. The University of Queensland crew will see rowing for Queensland, the Big Q, on Sunday as well. So a nice little check. The youth eight's always a highly competitive race between the states.
That's right, and it doesn't always reflect the results earlier on in the week either. So some of the crews have done quite a bit of work together, and some of them rise to the challenge of representing their state. So that's something to look forward to later in the regatta. And looking very much in control here. You can see Melbourne University Boat Club there with the big layback, and they're trying to force this thing along. And Sydney University Boat Club just starting to creep up on them in this third 500 metres. I think we should not also forget about the crew in lane number 7 from Mercantile, Grace Ivers, Imogen Nation, Abigail Cox, Jess Hawker and Isabel Finch, the Cox, and they're trying to see if they can sneak up here in the second half of this one and try and pinch a bronze medal. So it's the crew in lane number 6, the composite crew from Swan River, University of Queensland, and Wendouree Ballarat Rowing Club lead from the University of Queensland. Melbourne University having a great tussle there with their great rivals from Sydney University in the race for the bronze medal. And as I say, Mercantile a further 4.75 seconds back. So that might be a bit much of a challenge for them. We'll see what they're made of in this last 500 metres. Took out the under-19 women's Coxless for only about an hour ago, so it could be 2 gold medals in the space of an hour for this Swan River combination in the bow pair of the boat in lane number 6 as they continue to lead, and they lead from the University of Queensland, who have looked pretty silky smooth throughout this race, and they're seeing the challenge come from Melbourne University, who have just aggressively tried to push away from Sydney University in this last 500 metres. So less than only 200 metres to go as they pass the can dock on the southern side of the course. And that race for the bronze medal, Melbourne University and Sydney University. Looks as though gold medal looks relatively safe in the hands of the boat on screen. Swan River, University of Queensland and Wendouree Ballarat Rowing Club. Good through the first 500 metres and even better thereafter as they moved into the lead. Can Melbourne University start to reel in the University of Queensland crew on this side of the course? It looks like they've been able to see off the challenge from Sydney University. Can they upgrade from a bronze to a silver medal? So it's UQ just starting to feel the pinch a little bit in the last 50 metres. A win to Swan River, UQ and Wendouree Ballarat Rowing Club in the race for the silver medal. University of Queensland hold on ahead of the University of Melbourne in 3rd, Sydney University 4th. 5th goes to Mercantile Rowing Club from Melbourne, Victoria. Adelaide University Wilderness will be next in 6th position. And then we go back to the Mercantile UTS Haberfield crew in 7th and Adelaide Rowing Club 8th.
Presentation of medals for the Under-21 Men's Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by John Bowes, Pathways Transition Manager at Rowing Australia. Third place and bronze medalists, UTS Haberfield Rowing Club, the crew of Oscar Baregi and Jack Power. They're coached by Matthias Ungermack and Judith Ungermack. Second place and silver medalists, Corio Bay and Sydney Rowing Club, the crew of Charles Raden and Nicholas Whalen. And our gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, Adelaide Rowing Club and Cairns Rowing Club. The winning crew of Chad Willett and Adam Holland. They're coached by Nicholas Mitchell and supported by the South Australian Sports Institute and the Queensland Academy of Sport. please congratulate the 2024 Australian champions and medalists. We are now underway in race number 366. It's the final of the men's under-21 Coxed Fours. In lane number 1 from UTS Haberfield Rowing Club, Brandon Smith, Oliver St. Pierre, Joe Lynch, Joshua Wilson, coxed by Ryder Taylor and coached by Matthias and Judith Ungamak. In lane 2 from Sydney Rowing Club, MacArthur Bucknell, Alec Hoskin, Isaac Thurman, Charlie Hine, Mieta Jones is the coxswain and they're coached by Donovan Seck, Shane Mulvaney and Felix Dew. In lane 3 from Tasmania University, Jonathan Voss, Rowan Sanderson, Falcon Palmer, Archie Stewart, Chloe Mead is the coxswain and they're coached by Andrew Palmer. In lane 4 from Swan River and Commercial Rowing Clubs, a composite of Jake Gilmore, John Morrissey, Harper Davies, Fergus McNamara, Ray Poon is the coxswain and they're coached by Mark Beer and Stephen Potsy. In lane 5 from the University of Queensland, supported by the Queensland Academy of Sport, Lex Tucker, Matthew Cashman, Daniel Cashman, Monty Martin, Priscilla Russell is the coxswain and they're coached by Randall Martin and Peter Toon. Lane 6 from Melbourne University, we have Nicholas Bryant, James Horton, Tom Foley, Winston Hooper, Josh Feverkrans as the coxswain. In lane 7 from Adelaide University, Edward Chipperfield, Henry Belcher, Max Henry, Jake Nesbitt, Madison Newland is the coxswain and they're coached by Sam Morton and Christine McLaren and Nicholas Mitchell. And lane 8, it's a University of Queensland UTS composite of Will Clubb, James O'Meara, Mitchell Owen, Finlay Harris, their coxswain Tom Shaw and their coaches Randall Martin, Judith Ungaback and Peter Toon. As Owen Nix steps out, Richard Dorstein steps in and we've got 4 crews across the top there, Richard, all within a shout for medals.
Yes, a great time to sit down here with this race coming down now, the final of the under-21 men's Cox 4 and certainly a narrow lead, a very narrow lead to that University of Queensland combination on lane 5, but there'd be at most about half a length between our top 4 crews here, so a brilliant race in prospect here, and it has been a great morning of racing so far over the opening couple of hours of finals here on the Friday morning of the Australian Rowing Championship for 2024. But the narrowest of leads there certainly for University of Queensland lane 5 as our camera van gets up close and personal with the leading couple of bows there of that crew from University of Queensland, also Melbourne University alongside them. There'd be half a canvas or so really going on the surge with each stroke between those 2 crews as they're about to come through the halfway mark of the race, and it's just 0.59 of a second. University of Queensland ahead of Melbourne University. UTS Haberfield in 3rd place. That's the crew on the far side of the course. We saw St Virgil's double scull from Tasmania win from the outside lane earlier this morning, and UTS Haberfield very well placed here in the hunt for the medals as well in the final of the under-21 men's at Coxless 4, but it still is just the University of Queensland, Melbourne Uni 2nd, UTS 3rd and Adelaide University in 4th place. The crew racing on lane 7, so there was a pack of 3 very close together. So through the third 500 metres they go now, and it is the crew from Melbourne Uni stalking the early but ever so narrow race leaders from the University of Queensland, who still do have their bow in front, but how close is that? Half a canvas from 1st to 3rd lanes, 5, 6 and 1, and what a sight that would be from the peloton on the side of these course. The lead ever so narrowly, still with University of Queensland, but maybe not for long. They're being hunted on both sides. Also there, you can see the lane 2 bow number of Sydney Rowing Club and lane 7 Adelaide University. But Melbourne Uni rowing in the Carston Forsterling might just be about to sneak themselves in front. That angle marginally deceptive there, but as they come through 1,500 metres, it is extremely tight. And after the Premiership quarter, it is in fact UTS Haberfield, the combination across in lane 1 who do lead ever so narrowly, 0.19 of a second ahead then of the University of Queensland in the centre of the course alongside the crew from Melbourne Uni. And they're right down to the business end of this race, and still very hard to separate our leaders. Then in fourth place, it was Adelaide Uni and also the Sydney Rowing Club combination. But our three potential medalists here come down now at about 320 metres to race. And also moving up quickly, that Sydney Rowing Club crew alongside UTS there on the far side of the course. But it looks still to be UTS Haberfield ever so narrowly from University of Queensland. Melbourne Uni back towards the grandstand side of the course. Beside them, Adelaide University in about fourth or fifth place. Two crews there, side by side in the centre of the course. It's the University of Queensland crew narrowly ahead of Melbourne University. UTS Haberfield, the far side, certainly went for a very good push in the third 500 to remain on terms with our leading two crews, but it does look to be narrowly Lex Tucker, Matthew Cashman, Daniel Cashman and Monty Martin. Brisbane Boys College combination now from a couple of seasons ago, who have a narrow lead in the closing strokes of the under-21 Men's Cox 4 Championship of Australia. They've really pushed through strongly here in the closing strokes. The University of Queensland will be tight for second place, but the gold will go to the University of Queensland Boat Club Lane 5. Very tight for second. UTS will just get the silver. Bronze will go to Melbourne University. Fourth place then Sydney Rowing Club Lane 2. Lane 7 will be next. That's Adelaide University. Followed home on the outside lane by University of Queensland and UTS Composite crew. And then towards the centre of the course, we have the Swan River Commercial Composite, who will finish in 7th place. And 8th will go to the Tasmania University Boat Race. A great race there, Stuart, in the under-21 Men's Cox 4.
Such an exciting race. Welcome to the commentary box.
I'm awake now. 6:25. Melbourne University.
The presentation of medals for the Under-21 Women's Coxed 4. The medals will be presented by John Bowes, Pathways Transition Manager at Rowing Australia. In third place and bronze medalists, Melbourne University. Their crew of Chloe Nevins, Meg Dumbrell, and their coxswain, Jackie Evans. Second place and silver medalists, the University of Queensland Boat Club. Their crew, Edie Russell, Ruby Dollar, Alice Reedy, Tyler Hutton, and their coxswain, Annabelle Rosie Dodd. And our gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, representing Wendouree River. The crew of Lila Fieves, Greta Spencer, Georgia Montague, unfortunately unable to be there, Lucy Richardson, their coxswain Grace Bales, and They're coached by Mark Beer, Jamie McDonald and Philip Bourguignon. Please congratulate our 2024 Australian champions and medalists. As we move on now to the final of the women's under-23 double scull race. In one from Adelaide and West Australian rowing clubs, we have Tanika Webb and Georgina Tager. They're coached by Stefano Belosso. In lane 2 from Centenary Rowing Club and the Queensland Academy of Sport, Jessica and Sophie Malcolm, and they're coached by Gus Rodero and Ben Southwell. In lane 3 from Griffith University Surfers Paradise, Lindsay Calvert and Danica Free, coached by Christopher Holliday and Duncan Free. Lane 4 from Melbourne University, the Victorian Institute of Sport, and also the women's under-20, half of the women's under-23 Australian double. We have Olivia Rosea and Romy Cantwell. Romy Cantwell in the under-23 women's double with Danica Free from Griffith University Surfers Paradise. Lane 5 from University of Queensland, Brisbane and GPS, supported by the Queensland Academy of Sport, Hannah Kenway and Eliza Bridgefoot, coached by Ben Southwell and Gus Rodero. In lane 6 from Sydney Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport, another sister combination of Grace and Laura Cypher, coached by Lachlan Carter and Florence Griffiths. In lane 7 from the Sydney University, we have Tiffany Bota and Sophia Whiteman, coached by Alfie Young and Alan Bennett. And then lane 8 from Toowong and Tasmania University, Kate Oliver and Gabrielle Geldard. So a very strong field in this one, Richard.
It is indeed, yes. Thank you, Stuart. The under-23 women's double scull final, and they are now through the first 500 metres at 2 of this race. Of course, no B finals on today's program, so we do get plenty of action almost from the start of these A finals through this morning's proceedings, and a very good start to the lane 5 combination there up on the screen. The Brisbane and GPS and University of Queensland composite crew of Hannah Kenway and Eliza Bridgefoot. Stuart mentioned that the two halves of the Australian double scull are racing against each other here in different combinations. Danica Free and Romy Cantwell, but Eliza Bridgefoot also a member of the Australian women's quad scull, who will go and race this year in what is the combined World Championship regatta in Canada. Sophie Malcolm in this race also in that crew, along with Sarah Fard and Liesl Page, the full combination in the under-23 women's quad, who were coached by Ben Southwell. And Grace Cypher also in this race will race for Australia in the under-23 lightweight women's single scull at that regatta in St Catharines in Canada. It's a great year to go to the under-23 Worlds because it is combined this year with the Junior World Championship and also the non-Olympic Senior World Championship. So if anyone's looking for a trip to Canada mid-year, that would be absolutely the place to go.
That's not the one. It's not in Montreal, is it? That's not the one around the Jacques Villeneuve.
No mention of Formula 1 here, no, but the St Catharines rowing course actually was not too far away from there only a couple of months ago, visiting some friends in Toronto in Canada. And St Catharines is a town very close to Niagara Falls, so almost on the border with the United States and the state of New York across the Great Lakes there, but a very scenic part of the world if you're looking for somewhere to go in the middle of the year and see some of these athletes too take on the best the world has to offer. But leading it still through on lane 5 is that combination from University of Queensland and Brisbane and GPS. So Eliza Bridgefoot of UQ and Hannah Kenway from Brisbane and GPS. The clear the clear leaders now by just over a length, 3.02 seconds it was, back to Melbourne University, Livia Rosaya and Romy Cantwell, who is again one half of that Australian under-23 double scull. She'll race with Danica Free in the Australian colours later in the year, who sits in the lane 3 combination along with Lindsay Calvert and all Griffith University Surfers Paradise Rowing Club combination there, who was sitting in about 5th place at the halfway mark of the race. 3rd place was with the Malcolm sisters in the Battle of the Sisters. We saw this a couple of days ago too. I think the Malcolms and the Cyphers are racing each other. The Malcolms currently sit 3rd for Centenary, and the Cyphers 4th for Sydney Rowing Club at this stage as they head in well into the second half now of the final of the under-23 women's double scull. Hannah Kenway was a silver medalist in this event last year in combination, in fact, then with Danica Free in a Griffith University crew. The race last year won by Sydney Uni, who are in the final here, but this stage not featuring in medal placings. Their crew of Tiffany Botha and Sophia Whiteman racing in lane 7. Tiffany Botha did win the under-23 women's single scull yesterday. They're coached by Alfie Young and Alan Bennett. So, as Stuart said before, plenty of talent right across the field here in the final of the under-23 women's double scull as they move their way through now to the end of the third quarter of the race. And still it is a clear lead to that combination in the centre of the course. Hannah Kenway and Eliza Bridgefoot, who are clear by still a bit over a length, it would seem, from the combinations either side of them. Sydney Rowing Club coming through well in lane 6. The challenge now for the silver medal. It's going to be very tight, as it was in the previous race for second and third. In fact, the corrected margins have come through from the previous race. It was just 0.26 of a second in the end between UTS Haverfield in second place and Melbourne Uni third in the previous race. The under-21, the men's at Cox 4, but a win there, as we saw, at the University of Queensland, who will soon receive their medals. And it may be another win coming up here to the composite crew, including the University of Queensland. So Eliza Bridgefoot of UQBC and the Queensland Academy of Sport in the stroke set of this boat, along with Hannah Kenway of Brisbane and GPS, a silver medalist in this event last year, looking to go one better here. But the challenge certainly coming from Livia Rosaya and Romy Cantwell of the Melbourne University Boat Club in lane 4. And then a couple of lanes further across, Centenary, Sophie Malcolm and Jessica Malcolm get moving too in a very good race, at least for the silver and bronze medals, but they are making up round 2 on our all the way so far race leaders from University of Queensland and Brisbane and GPS. We also have the red colours there of Calvert and Free for Griffith University Surfers Paradise, and then lane 7, Sydney Uni, Tiffany Botha and Sophia Whiteman. And it's the Queensland composite crew who leads here, through with about 120 metres now to race. They've got about 2/3 of a length, it would seem. On alongside them, Livia Rosaya and Romy Cantwell from Melbourne University Boat Club. And still that Centenary combination making up ground. The Malcolm sisters, Jessica and Sophie, on the southern side of the course. And the Cypher sisters, Grace and Laura, in the light blue of Sydney Rowing Club, probably going for one medal between those two combinations. But the gold medal, the Australian Championship title, is going to go the way of Hannah Kenway and Eliza Bridgefoot of University of Queensland and Brisbane and GPS. They are clear by a length as they come across and win the under-23 women's double scull. Second will go to Melbourne Uni. Third will be tight, I think, the far side. Possibly the Malcolms over the Cyphers, but it's come up as a photo, so we'll await confirmation there. Fifth will certainly go to Griffith University Surfers Paradise, lane 3. Sixth place, Sydney Uni on lane 7. Couple of crews are still to come home on either side of the course. It's Adelaide West Australian Composite. Lane 1 will finish in 7th place, and 8th will go to the Toowong and Tasmania University Composite crew. Too close to call, Stuart.
Yeah, absolutely nothing in that between Centenary and Sydney for bronze. So we'll wait to see final confirmation there. You could see Eliza Bridgefoot at the end of that race slapping the water with absolute gusto. They are the Australian champions for 2024.
So 7:22.85, the unofficial winning time there to the combination from Brisbane and GP. From last year into a gold in 2024. The silver will go the way of Melbourne University, Livia Rosaya and Romy Cantwell. There was, in the end, about a boat length, 1.90 seconds, in fact, between those two crews. And we still await a verdict on third place, and it looks like now, in fact, it will go the way of Sydney Rowing Club, the bronze medal. Grace Cypher and Laura Cypher by 0.1 of a second have edged out Jessica Malcolm and Sophie Malcolm in the final strokes there. So it'll be silver at this stage, still unofficial. Well, that's the photo finish verdict, it appears. Silver to Sydney Rowing Club and 4th place to Centenary. And there are our results up on screen. How close is that for the bronze medal? We'll go back to the start line now for our next final, which will, Stuart, be the under-23 men's double scull.
Yeah, in lane 1 we have the Toowong Rowing Club crew of Roden Martin and Moss Murphy, coached by Mark Gamers. We just see the power that these athletes get off the line as they start off. In lane 2 we have Griffith University Surfers Paradise, Ben Horsnell and Mackenzie Branch, coached by Christopher Holliday. Melbourne University Composite of Felix Oliver and Blake Wyatt, coached by Stefano Beloso. In lane 4, UTS Haberfield Rowing Club, Patrick Burke and Henry Blackwell, coached by Matthias and Judith Ungamak and supported by the New South Wales Institute of Sport. In lane 5, we have a Mercantile crew of Austin Reiner and Dom Frederico, supported by the Victorian Institute of Sport. Lane 6, we have a Adelaide University Canberra Composite of Cormac Hayes and Nick Blackman, supported by the ACT Academy of Sport and the South Australian Sports Institute, coached by Nicholas Mitchell. Lane 7 from Penrith Rowing Club, Bradley Moran and Liam Taylor, coached by Lindsay Callahan. And lane 8 from Mercantile and Wendouree Ballarat, William Gilbert and Jackson Morrish.
Can confirm that result is now official in the previous race 2, race 367. So gold to University of Queensland, Brisbane and GPS, silver to Melbourne Uni, and it was the Cypher Sisters of Sydney Rowing Club who'll get the bronze ahead of the Malcolm Sisters from Centenary. Racing here in the under-23 men's double scull, and in a good early section of the race from that lane. Adelaide University as they come through the 500 metre mark. So it's Adelaide Uni Canberra, the leaders there ahead of UTS Haberfield. Second place on lane 4. The Mercantile crew in between those two doubles would be in third place at this point, but still probably under a length at least between all those three crews. And they have then got a bit of a margin back on another pack of 3 there on the southern side of the course. Toowong lane 1, Griffith University Surfers Paradise lane 2, and the West Australian and Melbourne University Composite crew racing in lane 3, who are very, very close together. And then the third division of the race at this stage, as our drone shot clearly shows us, is lane 7 and 8, the Penrith Rowing Club combination, and then Mercantile, Wendouree, Ballarat, who are racing in lane 8. But starting to clear out now, Cormac Hayes of the Canberra Rowing Club and Nick Blackman from Adelaide University ahead of that, probably Mercantile now, I'd suggest, up into second. Austin Reiner and Dom Frederico, and then Patrick Burke and Henry Blackwell from UTS Haberfield in third position. Now, photographers set up right along the course to get some great shots here of the action. Now, camera van moving down the northern side of the Sydney International Regatta Centre, and our top 3 settle down to sort themselves out here as they move their way through the second 500 metres of this race, heading up towards the half distance mark. And it's going to be a pretty handy lead there at halfway, close to a boat length you would think, with Cormac Hayes of the Canberra Rowing Club and Nick Blackman of Adelaide University leading it from the Mercantile combination of Austin Reiner and Dom Frederico. Single scull, so he's looking to claim his second gold medal in the space of about 24 hours here. He beat in that race Blake Wyatt of the West Australian Rowing Club, who sits in the lane 3 combination, and also Dom Frederico from Mercantile, who's in the second placed crew at this stage on lane 5. So it's been a good day for Nick Blackman of the Adelaide University Boat Club, in company here with Cormac Hayes from the Canberra Rowing Club, who himself was 6th in the final of the under-23 single scull yesterday. So a well-credentialed combination there, both in the top 6 in the country in the single, now combining into the double scull, and still unable to shake off at this stage the challenger from Mercantile. And a good combination, of course, it is from the Mercantile Club. It's Dom Frederico, who is another member of the Australian under-23 men's double scull, along with Nick Blackman, who's in the leading crew. So as it was in the previous event, the 2 members of the Australian double scull racing here in separate combinations and facing off almost literally there, in fact, for the gold medal and the Australian champion title, as they're now well through the 1,000 metre mark of the race. The lead certainly continues to be with Cormac Hayes and Nick Blackman from Austin Reiner and Dom Frederico. And then Patrick Burke and Henry Blackwell of UTS Haberfield still look comfortably in third. That clear line of crews on the southern side has been separated somewhat now. The West Australian Rowing Club and Melbourne University composite combination of Felix Oliver and Blake White have moved up into what should now be a clear fourth position as we see these crews now come through the 1500 metre mark. Blake White second in the single scull and Felix Oliver in 8th place. So again, a combination which had some success on this course yesterday as well. But Drew, now into the final 500 metres, and that lead is narrowing a little now, just 0.7 of a second. Adelaide Uni Canberra have over Mercantile, and they've cleared out by some distance now on the third place crew from UTS Haberfield, Patrick Burke and Henry Blackwell, coached by Matthias Ungermark and Judith Ungermark. The fourth place combination was the West Australian Rowing Club and the Melbourne University Boat Club on lane 3, Felix Oliver and Blake White. Toowong were 5th, Griffith University Surfers Paradise in 6th, that's lanes 1 and 2. And then back to this northern side of the course, Mercantile Wendouree Ballarat in 7th place and Penrith in 8th position. So it remains the crews in the centre of the course, and Mercantile certainly not willing to easily accept the silver medal here. They've started to lift substantially there, the crew in the centre lane, Austin Rayner and Dom Frederico, one of our semi-final winners from yesterday's program, alongside the other semi-winner from UTS Haberfield in 3rd place, but it's Cormac Hayes still and Nick Blackman just holding on as they are inside the red boys of the final 100 metres of this course. The under-23 men's double scull final, Mercantile lifting and making up some ground. They've got within about a canvas now of Adelaide University and Canberra, but still it is the yellow boat in front. The lane 6 combination, Adelaide University, Canberra Rowing Club, Cormac Hayes and Nick Blackman will win the under-23 men's double scull, and they'll win it by almost half a length. So a strong finish there from that crew. Ahead of Mercantile in 2nd place. Silver goes to Austin Rayner and Dom Frederico. 3rd place to UTS Haberfield, Patrick Burke and Henry Blackwell. Ahead of that West Australian and Melbourne University composite crew. Then 5th will be the far side, the combination from Toowong in lane 1. Tight for 6th place of Griffith University Surfers Paradise, and 8th place will go to the Penrith combination on lane 7.
Presentation of medals for the Under-23 Women's Double Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by John Bowes, Pathways Transition Manager at Rowing Australia. Third place and bronze medalists, Sydney Rowing Club. The crew of Grace Cypher and Laura Cypher. They're coached by Lachlan Carter and Florence Griffiths. Second place and silver medalists representing Melbourne University and supported by the Victorian Institute of Sport, Livia Rosea and Romy Cantwell. And gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024. Winning crew of Eliza Bridgefoot and Hannah Kenway. They're coached by Ben Southwell and Gus Rodero, supported by the Queensland Academy of Sports. Please congratulate our 2024 Australian champions and medalists. As we're moving on now to race number 369. It's the under-23 women's Coxless Fours. You can see them poised at the start line, getting ready to head out there. The women's Coxless Fours, under-23. In lane 2 from the University of Queensland, we have Georgia Montague, Ellie Reddy, Lucy Hope, Nancy Duncan-Banks, and coached by Philip Bergignon. In lane 3 from Melbourne University and Mercantile Rowing Club, supported by the Victorian Institute of Sport, we have Katerina Bitsios, Bridget Harwood, Anna Morrison, and Zara Lavery. In lane 4 from Sydney University and supported by the New South Wales Institute of Sport, Jessica Colburn, Zoe McKellar, Olivia Natty, Grace Turner, and they're coached by Alfie Young and Alan Bennett. In lane 5 from Sydney Rowing Club, Swan River Rowing Club and Fremantle Rowing Club, we have Genevieve Hart, Rebecca Pretorius, Isabella Scammell, Caitlin McManus-Barrett, and coached by Lachlan Carter and Jamie Hewlett. And lane 6 from UTS Haberfield and Fremantle Rowing Clubs, we have Charlotte Broad, Sarah Fard, April Draney, Lilla Anderton, and they're coached by Katie Healy, Jared Watson and Alex Thompson. And it is hoping for Charlotte Broad from Fremantle Rowing Club that she might celebrate her birthday today with a little bit of bling to take home in the luggage.
Yes, the medals to come shortly to the top 3 in this event. And we should also take this opportunity to thank the girls from the Hunter Valley Grammar School who are assisting with the presentations today as the tray holders. So thank you to Hunter Valley Grammar School for providing the tray holders for today's presentations. Newcastle Grammar yesterday and Hunter Valley Grammar School today. So the schools from that part of the country being extremely helpful with the operation of this regatta and the presentation ceremonies. Looks very likely, even after only the first quarter of this race, that that combination on lane 5, the crew, well, it's listed as the Sydney, Swan River and Fremantle composite crew, but it also looks to be very similar to the Australian women's 4 that will go across to that same under-23 World Championships regatta in Canada later in the year. And that is the crew of Genevieve Hart from Fremantle, Rebecca Pretorius of Swan River, Isabella Scammell and Caitlin McManus-Barrett, both from the Sydney Rowing Club. They're coached by Lachlan Carter and Jamie Hewlett, that combination. And they do sit out in front by over a length already, so a Clearwater margin to the Sydney composite crew there on lane 5 as they come through the second 500 metres now of the race. Second place at the quarterway mark was with the lane 2 combination from the University of Queensland, which does include so Georgia Montague, who picked up a gold medal only about 4 races ago. She won the under-21 women's Cox 4 in that Wendouree, Ballarat, Swan River and University of Queensland composite crew. She wasn't present for obvious reasons now at the presentation ceremony when those gold medals were handed out, because she was back on the water racing up to the start to do it again, and she's every chance here to collect a second medal at least in the space of about 45 minutes it would be in that crew from the University of Queensland who are racing on lane 2. So that's Georgia Montague, Ellie Reddy, Lucy Hope and Nancy Duncan-Banks for the University of Queensland Boat Club, who are coached by Philip Bourguignon, who also celebrated a birthday, I think, a couple of days ago. It's been a busy week here for birthdays at the Australian Rowing Championships in 2024. Third place, it's an all-Victorian composite crew on lane 3. Katerina Bitsios and Bridget Harwood from Melbourne University, Anna Morrison from Mercantile, and Zara Lavery, also from the Melbourne University Boat Club, in that combination in third place. But our race leaders already through the halfway mark. Now the Sydney composite crew, as they're described, leading it. In fact, that's the 500 metre splits up on screen now. The 1,000, in fact, there we go. It's a 3.49 second lead to Sydney composite ahead of the University of Queensland. 2.70 seconds then back to Melbourne Uni Mercantile in third place. Fourth is UTS Haberfield and Fremantle. The combination racing on this northern side of the course. Charlotte Broad from Fremantle, Sarah Fard of UTS, April Draney of UTS and Lila Anderton also of UTS, coached by Katie Healy, Jared Watson and Alex Thompson, that UTS Fremantle composite crew. And the fifth crew in the race is the Sydney University combination, lane 4, Jessica Colburn, Zoe McKellar, Olivia Natty, Grace Turner, coached by Alfie Young and Alan Bennett. And Zoe McKellar, in fact, is a defending champion in this event. She won it last year in a Sydney Uni, Melbourne Uni composite crew, but she's the only surviving member left still at under 23 level, it appears, or at least in the final of this race. And they sit at this stage in 5th position, that crew that is all Sydney Uni racing in lane 4 in the centre of the course. And that's the boat, in fact, you can see closest to our drone in the centre lane, not too far away there from the following umpire's boat. The 10-rigged UTS Haberfield Fremantle composite crew was on the other side of the umpire, but our race leaders, you could see from that fantastic drone angle, had certainly cleared out very comfortably on lane 5. The Australian women's under-23 Coxers 4, as they are part of a very strong team that will go across to St Catharines in Canada to race in the combined Junior under-23 and non-Olympic Senior World Championship Regatta later on in the year. So it is the Sydney Composite crew who leads here. Don't believe what you're seeing up on screen there now. It's certainly Sydney Composite ahead of University of Queensland. There's been no change in the order at the head of the field. And I think the crew from Sydney Swan River Fremantle has in fact extended their lead over the University of Queensland in second place. Still third is with the Melbourne Uni Mercantile composite combination on lane 3. So our top 3 remain as they've been for quite some distance in this race. And there you can see confirmation that the crew in the centre of the course, or towards the centre of the course, at least in lane 5, remains very comfortably clear as they've come through that 1,750 metre marker there on the southern side of the course, which marks the final 8 of this 2,000 metre race. And they are comfortably in charge here. There's crew that will race in green and gold later in the season. But for now, representing their respective clubs, Sydney, Swan River and Fremantle. So a half New South Wales, half West Australian combination. Great crowds here watching on in the grandstand today as well on their second day of finals at the Australian Rowing Championship for 2024. And it looks like a gold medal is coming up soon to the lane 5 combination. Second place still University of Queensland over in lane 2. Mercantile, Melbourne Uni look comfortable in bronze. The Sydney Uni crew making a late charge over UTS and Fremantle in what would be the race for 4th and 5th place. But it's going to be a gold medal in a few strokes' time. The Genevieve Hart, Rebecca Pretorius, Isabella Scammell, Caitlin Vaness Barrett and their coaches Lachlan Carter and Jamie Hewlett, who win the under-23 Women's Coxers 4 Championship of Australia. 2.5 lengths clear of the University of Queensland over on lane 2. About 2 lengths back behind them to the 3/4 Melbourne Uni and 1/4 Mercantile composite crew. They'll get the bronze medal. 4th will indeed go to the yellow boat there of Sydney Uni, who came home strongly late in the race and went up 1 spot into 4th. And 5th then is UTS Haberfield and Fremantle in the final of the under-23 Women's Coxers 4. (7:00:28) the unofficial winning time, and 7.13 seconds the margin there for Sydney, Swan River and Fremantle.
Coxed 4s. The medals will be presented by John Bowe. Third place and bronze medalists, Melbourne University. Their crew, Nicholas Bryant, James Houghton, Winston Hooper, and their coxswain, Josh Feverkrantz. They're supported by the Victorian Institute of Sport. UTS Haberfield. Joe Lynch. Joshua Wilson, and their coxswain, Ryder Taylor. They're coached by Matthias and Judith Ungamak. And our gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, the University of Queensland. The crew of Lex Tucker, Monty They're coached by Randall Martin, Peter Toon, and supported by the Queensland Academy of Sports. Please congratulate our 2024 Australian champions and medalists. We are now underway in race number 370 and motoring down the course of the under-23 men's coxless fours. Lane 3 from UTS Haberfield, supported by N-Swiss. We have Brandon Smith, Oliver St. Pierre, Nicholas Pender, Joshua Wilson, and coached by Matthias and Judith Ungamak. In lane 4 from Sydney and Cairns rowing clubs, Miles Harold, Alec Hoskin, Darcy Watter, Bradley Graham, coached by Donovan Seck and Scott Rowe. In lane 5 from Sydney Rowing Club, Toby Tegg, James Fredrickson, Angus Aitken, Declan Glendenning, coached by Donovan Seck, Shane Mulvaney and Felix Dew. And in lane 6 from the University of Queensland, Cairns and Sydney University Rowing Clubs, we have Hugo Hobbs, Zach Nixon, Andrew Waitman, Hugh Waitman, and they're coached by David Waitman, Don McLaughlin and Philip Bergignon.
Waitmans are plenty in the University of Queensland composite crew there on lane 6. Of course, the brothers Andrew and Hugh coach David Waitman, who was an Olympic silver medalist back in 1996 in company with current Rowing Australia President Rob Scott, beaten by a fairly good combination from the Great Britain team, of course, including the great Steve Redgrave in that boat. But it is at the lead with the Sydney composite, or Sydney and Cairns. 23 Coxless 4 come down that couple of races to go and win their race comfortably. This is actually the Australian men's Coxed 4 that will go away and compete at the Under-23 World Championships in St Catharines, Canada later in the year, but rowing here in the Coxless event. So that's the crew of Miles Harold, Alec Hoskin, Darcy Watter and Bradley Graham. So Darcy Watter from Cairns Rowing Club in Brisbane, the other 3 members of the Sydney Rowing Club, coached by Donovan Seck and Scott Rowe. That combination, they do lead by just over a length at the 1,000-metre mark of the race. A very good race behind them for second and third, under half a second between UTS Haberfield in second place and Sydney Rowing Club in third. UTS crew Brandon Smith, Oliver St Pierre, Nicholas Pender and Joshua Wilson, coached by Matthias Ungamak and Judith Ungamak. Nicholas Pender is actually also a member of the Coxless 4 that will race for Australia, along with Jared Lord of Cairns, Austin Rayner of Mercantile and Mitch Salisbury from Cairns. So 2 4s selected for Australia, 1 Coxed and 1 Coxless. But it is, just to confuse things, it's the Cox 4 rowing this race, which is the Coxless event. But they are clear in any case, and that is the Sydney Cairns composite combination on lane 4, who maintain about a boat length lead there, and a very good push coming here from the Sydney Rowing Club in second place as well. That is, or very close at least, the battle for second place. That's Toby Tegg, James Fredrickson, Angus Aitken and Declan Glendenning, coached by Donovan Seck, Shane Mulvaney and Felix Dieu. That combination there for Sydney Rowing Club. So a good race for the silver and bronze. Clearly into second place ahead of UTS Haberfield over on lane 3. And then the fourth crew in the race, it is a 2-state, 3-club composite crew. Hugh Waitman from the University of Queensland, and they are coached, as we mentioned, by David Waitman, Donald McLaughlin and Phil Bourguignon. But it is a Substantial lead now to Sydney and Cairns on lane 4. Miles Harold, Alec Hoskin, Darcy Water and Bradley Graham as they go through the 1,500 metre mark. Well clear of Sydney Rowing Club, certainly up into a comfortable second place to the combination from Sydney. Then UTS Haberfield third, and the University of Queensland Cairns Sydney Uni combination sits in 4th place. So that is our leading crew there on lane 4, the red and white of the Cairns Rowing Club there. Alec Hoskin and Bradley Graham from Sydney Rowing Club in the other 3 seats in the boat. Sydney Rowing Club have 7 of the top 8 athletes in this race for now, because their lane 5 crew still does sit pretty comfortably now in 2nd place. They did win this race as well last year, Sydney Rowing Club, and in fact, both Angus medal at Champion Lakes, but possibly only be a silver here. They're up against some very good competition in the form of the Australian men's Cox 4, and finishing quickly to UTS Haberfield on the southern side of the course. Suddenly decide bronze may not be what they want. They're looking for a silver medal now, and moving back alongside the challenge Sydney Rowing Club. And our race leaders finding their gap diminishing here. The 2 crews behind them really racing for 2nd and 3rd. UTS lane 3, Sydney lane 5. The lead is still with that Sydney Cairns composite crew. It's down to about a boat length now, but it's still comfortable enough. The final strokes of the under-23 men's Cox's 4 Championship of Australia final, and it goes the way of Cairns Sydney Rowing Club. They'll get the gold medal. A good finish from UTS Haberfield means they will take the silver ahead of Sydney Rowing Club, who'll finish with the bronze. And 4th place will go to the 3-club composite crew, University of Queensland, Cairns and Sydney University, racing on lane 6. 2.73 seconds there between our top 2 crews, and an unofficial time of 6:18.76 for the combination from Sydney Rowing Club and Cairns. The Australian men's at Cox 4 win the Cox's 4 under-23 title.
Of medals for the presented by John Bowes, Pathways Transition. Third place and bronze medalists, UTS Haberfield. Their crew of Patrick Burke and Henry Blackwell. They're coached by Matthias and Judith Ungamak and supported by the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Second place and silver medalists, Mercantile Rowing Club. And Dom Frederico. They're supported by the Victorian Institute of Sport and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. And our gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, Adelaide University and Canberra Rowing Club. The winning crew, Cormac Hayes and Nick Blackman. They're coached by Nicholas Mitchell and supported by the South Australian Sports Institute and the ACT Academy of Sports. Please congratulate our 2024 Australian champions and medalists. As we're getting ready now for the start of race number 371. It's the Open Women's Double Scull Final, and a fantastic field that we've got here for this one, and very much an international field as well. Lane 1 from Team Singapore, we have Joan Poe and Joanna Chan Lei Cheng. In lane 2 from Sydney University and the National Training Centre, Rowena Meredith and Kate Rowan. In lane 3 from ANU and Mercantile, we have Sophie Reiner and Catherine Kahn, coached by Annabelle Eaton and Nigel Harding. Our crew's just sitting there ready, poised, waiting for the